It's more of a love album.
All right, all right. Welcome, welcome, welcome to another week of Manifestations 2020. As you guys know, we are definitely bringing you guys some heat each and every week. And I have my dope brothers that's bringing the heat with us. So I know tonight is a very special night. So we did want to just gracefully take this time right now to wish everybody out there happy Mother's Day. We understand that you guys have so many phenomenal women, mothers that are out there doing their job day in, day out. A lot of y'all don't have help, and we understand that. We recognize that. I'm grateful enough to have my mother here. And I know these fellas have their mothers here as well. But there are some people out there that may have lost their mother within the last 5 years, maybe this year, or you had lost them at a young age. But we just want to know that we're here for you. We understand. I won't say that I understand your pain, but I sympathize with what you're going through and wish you and your family nothing but prayers and strength to keep you going during this tough time each and every year. Because I know that could be a big burden on a lot of people, especially if you are very close to your mother. So we just wanted to take that time out and wish all the mothers out there happy Mother's Day. Enjoy your day, have fun, relax, kick off your feet. This is your day. This is your appreciation day. Live it up to the fullest. So just wanted to recognize everybody on that. All
Yes,
right,
sir.
fellas.
Yes,
Good
sir.
stuff. Did y'all want to give any peace out to the Mother's Day? Any
I
little
mean,
outside?
shout out to my mom. Love you to life. She's wonderful. She's out there doing her thing. Shout out to my aunts, Auntie Njeri, Auntie Shiko. Shout out to both of y'all. Shout out to my mom. They're three of the most wonderful women in the world, and they're great mothers. So shout out to all of them, and shout out to my grandmother and my great grandmother, even though they're no longer with us, they're still here with us in spiritual essence, and they were phenomenal women. They were very instrumental in shaping me into the man I've become. And I mean, without great mothers out here, where would we be? Let's just keep it above.
That's
Ultra facts, ultra
absolutely true.
facts.
Yeah,
Matter of fact.
Salute to Mama Drake, chilling, doing her thing, relaxing, or as close to relaxing as it gets. Definitely big ups to my sister, where she's at, holding it down. Um, I'm also friends with some very phenomenal women who happen to be mothers as well too. Um, they definitely exemplify motherhood and what it means to be a mother, not just in name and status, but also in deed as well too. The love they show their kids is unconditional. They're raising healthy, functional, whole young boys and young girls, and I'm absolutely positive that the children will turn into amazing, stalwart people in the years to come. So appreciate them for contributing and for definitely adding on to society in positive, wholesome ways. And continue the good work. Strive for more. Strive for better. Let's get there.
yeah,
Exactly. Shout out to Mama Malcolm. You already know Mama Lee. Whatever alias she want to go by. Sometimes my mother plays with the last names when she feels suitable to play with the last names.
there
So
it
Mama
is.
Lee, Mama Malcolm, um, you know, that's my heart, my joy. I love my mother to death. Shout out to my two sisters, their mothers as well. Um, I love my family to death. The thing about it is, as a person that is always out here producing facts and producing truth, I have to be very protective of them. I remember one year I had the Broward Police Department tailing me, harassing me at one point because I was out here speaking truth to power.
Mm.
I had to get, my resources in and get that pull to get them off of me. So it is very dangerous when you're out here um, telling truth to power and trying to change for the better because we understand there's a global system that's put in place to make sure that we don't exceed our expectations and don't uprise and be the conquering uh, race of people that we once were. So trying to induce that spirit and enlighten and igniting that spirit, it will rub people the wrong way, especially those from the privileged community that might see it in that fashion. So a lot of times I do have pictures up where I do have my mother. I don't do it often because of especially the occupation she's in. She's very vulnerable. So I make sure that I keep her identity as much as concealed as possible. So I don't flaunt my mother around all the time, but I have talks with my mother daily. We laugh, we joke, and I adore my mother to the utmost and my sisters as well. So I protect them. I'm very protective of them. Anybody knows that there are my weak spots. So I try not to give them out in the public too much for people to know that they're my weak spot. So if you don't see me posting pictures of my mother, that doesn't mean that me and my mother don't have a relationship. It's more that the direction I'm going on, the path that I'm on, the journey that I'm on, that is a very dangerous journey, and I don't want them to get caught up in the crossfires. So
Absolutely.
definitely,
Absolutely.
man. I appreciate all the mothers out there. I appreciate everybody, and all my fellas on here. Appreciate y'all mothers. I'm glad you guys have them here. It's a wonderful blessing to have the mothers. They bring a much needed element all the time. We always talk about the fathers, but the mothers do bring an added element that children do need, and we appreciate having that side of them available to us. So, with that being said, all right, we're going to definitely get into tonight's topic, which is self-awareness. And Major basically brought us to this topic tonight. So Major, just give them a little details of why is it that you chose that we need to talk about self-awareness this week.
Yeah, this topic ties in very well with our topic from last week, which that's the real reason that I wanted. It's kind of like a continuation in my view, because at the end of the day, once you start talking about being self-aware, you're talking about not the understanding of how others look at you or how you look at you, but the overall understanding of all that put together and what it encompasses. And I think that a lot of us, we're out here and we're doing the work and we're doing this and that, but we're not particularly self-aware of how it is, how it is that we're being perceived, how it is that people take us, so to speak. And I thought that this was a very important conversation to have this week. As I pointed out to you during the week, there were so many things that came up that just kind of tied in with this topic. So right after you talk about dating preferences, to me, a lot of things came up in the dating preferences conversation where you can tell very clearly that these people were not self-aware whatsoever. As far as, okay, this is the energy I'm putting out there. This is how people are taking me. This is the way that I'm presenting myself. A lot of times in the dating preferences conversation, we see it all the time. People view themselves as being a lot more than they are. Okay. And that's what gets a lot of people in trouble. That's what causes some of these misunderstandings. Ebony K. Williams pops into my head immediately when I think of that. You understand? You have this woman looking down her nose at the average everyday person when she was just not too long ago a quote unquote average everyday person. You understand? You look at her, she's beyond her prime as far as age is concerned. She's kind of average. She's maybe a little above average, but she's not any great shakes, to most guys that I hear talking about her. She has a deplorable attitude from what we can see. Maybe it's just what she exudes in, interviews or whatever, but where there's smoke, there's fire. I watched a 30-second clip of this woman and I couldn't stand her. She has no idea, my personal assessment, I don't think she has any idea what energy she's giving off and why it is she's getting some of the negative responses and some of the negative and hateful email and, IMs or whatever that she's getting. But it's because of the energy that she's giving off. It's because you're looking down on people, who are normal people and you ain't all that. You know what I mean? It's just so much wrong there. And it's not only her. There are a lot of people out there like that. There are men out there like that. Yep. They think that they're God's gift to women, and a real woman, a real strong, solid sister could probably tell them, everything that's wrong with him in a 60-second conversation. You know what I mean? Like, it's really that serious where a lot of people, they just think they're the shit and they're not. You know what I'm saying? So we have to get to that point where we take an honest look at ourselves and it's like, okay, these are my strong points. These are the things that I need to work on. You know, this is my tier. I always talk about the dating tier. You know what I mean? This is my tier. Let me go ahead and try to catch within my tier and do something that makes sense. You know, a lot of us don't have that type of humility. Or if I want to date beyond the tier that I'm in, let me do some things to myself to improve myself, to make myself more attractive, like Bobby said last week, to the next tier of people that I want to try to attract. You understand what I'm saying? I don't think enough of us have that type of game. I think a lot of us are real game goofy and think that, you know, just because we offer a few basic things that, you know, every knee is supposed to bow and every tongue confess that we are the chosen ones. And that's just bullshit. That's where I sit on that.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So that's great points. Great assessment. I had the same assessment with the Ebony woman as well. Drake, what's your assessment on tonight's topic? What do you come to mind about tonight's topic? Self-awareness.
Just the very idea of self-awareness. It's really amazing how the skill is so vital and yet it's really lacking in a lot of people. Just the basic idea of what is being put out there in the world by you and how you look, your image, and what's being placed out there. And I know that especially nowadays in this era of society, we have a lot of people that make wild proclamations about how, oh, I don't care how I look, whatever. I don't care how other people see or perceive me. That's their business, whatever. And there's been a number of quotes over the years that have been put out. Some that have merit, some not so much. Top of my head, I can think of what what other people think of you is none of your business. All that matters is, you know, how you and God see yourself. You know, we know the truth, whatever, that kind of thing. And there is some merit to that. There is true because you know, we also unfortunately live in an era where rumors are the standard fare of the day. Gossip's flying at an all-time high now. All kinds of fake and false news go flying left, right, and center on social media and different places. So, and people typically tend to run with things about people that haven't necessarily been validated and verified. So it's very easy for one person to say something that's false about you, and then it just takes along a life of its own. Before long, there's this whole perception of you out there that's not even anywhere close to being true. But because two or three people said it, it must be so. No due diligence, no verification, no evidence. That's not important anymore. So again, there is some merit and some validity to it. However, as is the case with most things, there's balance. There is homeostasis that has to be reached. So while perception on the whole might not be everything, it is something. And perception can make or break you professionally, personally, in your family, in your dating and romantic life, in your neighborhood, all the different places that comprise your life that you live with other people. Because we're not islands, we live social lives with other people. So there is a level of our perception, our reputation that is out there. And it behooves us to make sure that within our power, what we want to be out there is on point. You definitely have places where your reputation can indeed be currency. There's some places where you've never been, you've never met the people there, but they know of you. You know, I've heard stories and I've experienced firsthand where, you know, the reputation preceded people, and in some cases that led to people being friendly and receptive and opening to them when they arrived. For some people, that's meant getting jobs or promotions, their music, their books, their material, whatever it is they might do as a living, that went ahead of them, and people were saying, "Hey, we want to go speak with so and so. We want to have so and so sing for us, so and so perform for us, so and so like a copy of their book. We like to meet this person just on the strength of people who they hold in high regard, bringing your name up. And now it's like, wow, so my presence is being felt in places I don't even know about yet. And it's powerful. And on the flip side of that, you have the negative version of that as well, where because of the deeds and misdeeds, good, bad, and otherwise, that are out there about you, could be false, could also be true. But because of these perceptions at you, there are other people who have a perception of you, and it's not a good one. And so when your name pops up, you're disqualified off top. When they see you, when they see how you carry yourself, the things you say, when they're hearing you, maybe you think no one's around, no one's observing you, but people are listening and watching. And so they hear who you really are, again, for better, for worse, and they make decisions based on that. And some people are like, you know what? This is someone we want in the camp. Some people are saying, I don't want to fool with this person.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I would be remiss if I didn't bring up the the weather beaten, sandblasted, eroded, faded time and time again, misquotation of only God can judge me, where the whole idea of don't judge me, or you shouldn't judge others, judgment is not, that's all kind of nonsense. Well, the
Right?
reality is this, not the myth, not the wish, the reality, where we actually all live and dwell and have to operate in 24/7, 365.
Yeah.
In reality, we have billions upon billions of people on this planet. Roughly, I believe 7 billion people and counting, also subtracting as well too. Day in, day out, people check in, people check out. Over 7 billion people on the planet, any number of which reside in the area you live in. It is impossible. Not maybe if you try hard enough, no. It is impossible, literally impossible, for you to stop and get to know each and every single human being that you encounter or bump into on a daily basis, let alone the people you haven't even seen or met face to face or been in the same space of.
Right.
So the idea that we must sit back and get to know in depth, have a whole conversation, an interview, and plot all these facts about people, the idea that we have to do this in order to judge someone is
Mm-hmm.
asinine.
It is.
God gave, well, I don't know about that these days. I know. Allegedly, God allotted each and every single one of us common sense. Some people more than others, some way less than others. But
Allegedly.
God gave us the tool. I'm not. That's not a knock on God. I'm just looking at the creations, and I don't know.
Hey, fair point.
I'm not saying it's on his end. I'm saying somewhere once it got passed, somebody had butterfingers. I don't know. But the point is, we were all given tools needed to be able to make judgments. We're able to learn. We're able to learn from our experience firsthand. Those who are more on the higher level of thinking and consciousness and awareness have the ability to learn from other people's mistakes. They can learn from observation. I see that such and such suffered from this, so I don't have to go that route. We have the ability to learn and make judgments based on our knowledge and our experience. Some are able to do it better than others, but ultimately, if you live long enough and you're halfway sensible, you should be able to form certain opinions and judgments based on experience, based on circumstances, certain key things, picking up clues. So it's absolutely fair to be able to form judgments about people based on what is out there about them, whether they've put it out there themselves or other people put it out there for you.
Right.
How is this tied to self-awareness? Through self-awareness, you realize that your image, for better or for worse, does matter, and you make it your business to try and curate the perception of yourself that you want to be out there. The best way to do that is by ultimately living up to what it is you want to be out there instead of just trying to do it or by your mouth, by saying this is who I am. You show people who you are, that's going to have a whole lot more weight to it. But ultimately, in order to make any changes, to make any tweaks or corrections, you have to be aware that it's what's out there in the first place. From there, you can build on that, you can subtract, and you can shape yourself into who you want to be, and hopefully you can grow into that person as well. So we're going to get into it a little bit. We're going to chop up some examples. We're going to really dig deeper into this thing. Hopefully, when it's all said and done, we can all leave with a better, stronger understanding of self-awareness and do what it takes to get ours up to par and to pass the sniff test.
There it is.
Exactly. Well said. Well said. Both you brothers brought it home on that one. So with that being said, we're definitely going to go into the definition of it. Self-awareness is a conscious knowledge of one's own character, feelings, motives, and desires. The process can be painful, but it leads to the greater self-awareness. Also, next one. Self-awareness is the ability to focus on yourself and how your actions, thoughts, and emotions do or do not align with your internal standards. Third, all right, when it comes to your career, there are three aspects of self-awareness that are particularly important. Self-awareness of your triggers and your reactions to them. We see that a lot in the workplace. People in the workplace might not like you, depending on how you look or your ethnic background, whatever the case may be, and they will sit back and poke you to get a reaction. And then when you do the reaction, now you're in trouble on your job. Also, self-awareness of how you're landing with others. Self-awareness of how your routine behavior impacts future opportunities. Now, that can be a prime example, a good example of that in the workplace career setting is with Ja Morant. As you guys know, Ja Morant did some off the field activities, flaunting a firearm, and got in trouble for it. He was supposed to go through some counseling. They gave him some suspension. Then he came back on the team. Now, recently, he did the same thing again, and they suspended him again. But it goes to show you that self-awareness of how your routine behavior impacts your future opportunities. Now he's in a process of, because of his action, and he wasn't self-aware of what happened or didn't learn from the first part, now his future opportunities are in limbo because now I see a lot of sports writers are talking about how the team that he was on, the Memphis Grizzlies, are doing better without him as a total basketball player. So the narrative now is that the team was already doing better without him. So we don't even need his antics for him to stay on the team, because now we're looking at the value of you in the workspace. And we see that the value is more greater without you on the team than it is with you on the team. And that's based on statistical facts. So definitely keep that in mind. We all have a career and we have routine behavior that impacts our future opportunities. So always be self-conscious of that. Moving on to the next one. The fourth dimension of self-awareness. All right. The first dimension is awareness of what others say and think about you. The first dimension of self-awareness is being aware of how you impact others, other people, right? Also, awareness of thoughts, feelings you have about yourself, awareness of who you really are, and awareness of who you want to become. Once you break down these dimensions, self-reflection of yourself, the self-awareness will get you to the point that you need to become. Understanding who you are, who you want to become, these are all things to prep you up onto your journey of life and to be a stronger person that you were yesterday. You'll be a stronger person today than you were yesterday, because it's all about self-growth when it comes to self-awareness. So I definitely want to move on to the next one, which is the fifth elements of self-awareness. That's self-concept. Your self-concept is your perception of you, how you see yourself. Very important. When you have self-awareness, how you see yourself is how you're going to maneuver effectively throughout life. If you don't see yourself as somebody that is positive, or somebody that is worth something, or somebody that is impactful, then you're going to go through life missing a lot of opportunities, not being able to put yourself in the best situations. And also, that's going to lead to more depression because you're going to have more failures and losses, and that's going to lead you into the path of depression. And once you get to that path, you already know it can be very problematic and sometimes very fatal. As we said before, men, especially men, are 3 times more suicidal than any other gender. So keep that in mind. Thoughts. Our thoughts are tied in to our emotions. So when we try to become more aware of our emotions, we must first understand our thoughts and our thought process. And if you guys really want to get to know more about that, these gentlemen that's on here with me and myself, we have broke that down into the episode Emotional Maturity. So you guys can always go back to our past episode of Emotional Maturity, and you get a lot of game and great information, a lot of gems out of there that will elaborate more on that right there. Self-concept of the feelings, your body, and your emotion. So those are the 5 elements of this added self-awareness. All right, the next one is 5 ways to become more self-aware. Number 1, meditate. Yes, meditate. Meditate is a very powerful tool because meditate is similar to you taking the battery out of your phone and leaving it out of your phone for a little minute before replacing it back. What does that do? That resets the system. Meditation, that's what you do. You're resetting your brain, your thoughts. You're rejuvenating yourself. So you're getting onto a fresh start when you exit out of meditation, which is a very, very effective thing to do and a very effective self-care aspect of what to do. Write down your key plans and priorities. One of the best ways to increase self-awareness is to write down what you want to do and track your progress. One of the things that I think we have gotten into and more aware of, and a lot of participation in it is, like I see a lot of people doing, what's it called? The boards. What's the boards called again?
Vision boards.
Vision boards. Vision boards.
Mhm.
Correct. Thank you.
Mhm.
The vision boards. So we see a lot of people doing vision boards. I see vision board parties. I see vision board events. So there's a lot of vision boards. So that is one of the things that you can do to help yourself awareness for yourself, because writing it down, now you keep track of how you're doing and making sure that you stay on top of where you're trying to get to, and visualizing that. And that's why they say vision board. When you have a visual of it, now you get to see in real time what you have done so far and what more you need to do. Uh, Take psychometric tests. That's another good way to be more self-aware. Ask trusted friends. There's nothing more valuable than having friends around you that tell you the real truth, that give you the
Nice.
real information by
Mhm.
assessing you and not BSing you and telling you what's going on. A lot of people don't like the truth, hence
Mm.
why people don't like Corey Holcomb, or people don't like Kevin Samuels, or you might not like the stuff that we say because we give it to you raw, unfiltered. But what we're doing is trying to help you to get to where you truly need to get to. And you can only get there by being truthful with yourself. All right. And the
Yeah.
last is get regular feedback at work. Why do you get regular feedback at work? Because everybody that works around you, they're watching your work ethics. They're watching to see what you're doing. And by them watching you from the outside looking in, they can see things that you don't even notice about yourself. Because what we don't understand is subconsciously, our conscience will subconsciously do things that we find to be normal and don't even realize what we're doing. And somebody that's looking and observing you can point that out to you and say, hey, you know what? I think you're doing this a little wrong because I'm noticing da da da. And you like, damn, am I really doing that? I didn't even know I was doing that. And that added correction came from a coworker that has been observing you and just giving you great feedback on how to be better, especially in the job settings.
Dope.
Uh, Next one we want to get into is the 4 domains of emotional intelligence, which is self-awareness, which is what we're talking about tonight, self-management, social awareness, and relationship management. Each can help a leader face any crisis with lower levels of stress, less emotional reactivity, and fewer unintended consequences. I agree. The more you know and you assess yourself, the less problems you're going to deal with, and the less problems you're going to put out there, and the less conflict you're going to have. And that's why they talk about relationship management. Because if I don't assess it the correct way, I will start problems in this relationship that might end up leading to a breakup or a divorce if I'm not careful about managing the relationship. It takes two to tango. So understand when it's your fault as a man, you have to man up, own it, and correct it. As a woman, if you know it's your fault, you have to own up, woman up, own it, and correct it. It takes
Hmm.
two to make a functional relationship manage. Be real with yourselves, and you guys are going to have a real life relationship, one that's going to be very healthy and positive entering in society. And the last definition and the thing that I want to get to right now is benefits of developing self-awareness, being better able to manage and regulate your emotions. We talked about that. Better communication. This is very important, especially in a relationship aspect, because time after time, we're seeing miscommunication. A lot of times we get communications issues and arguments and and gripes coming from women, but we also have men that say women aren't great communicators as well. I've ran across women that are not great communicators. And if they're not, you have to point that out. Because even when you are, let's say that you and that person are no longer together, you still want to point it out so maybe they could be better for the next person. So don't ignore it, address it. If they don't align up with it, at least you addressed it and you moved on, and hopefully they can, work on that communication issue better so that way they don't lose another good person in their lives as well due
Right.
to that. Better decision making skills, very, very important. Now, especially fellas, this comes in with you because you are the leader. They're looking at you to lead the household. So this more falls on you with better decision making skills. You got to make sure that you're leading your family in the right direction and not leading them into the slaughterhouse. You're not leading them into the land of destruction, because if you're leading them into the land of destruction, everybody under that roof is going to be destroyed, and it's going to be very bad in the long run for it. So you have to make sure that when you're making these decisions, you're making very calculated, precise, and great decisions. Now, when you're making decisions as a leader, that does not mean that you can't take sound advice from your mate. This is one of the reasons why it's very important for you to have a good mate, so that way you can be assisted with making better decisions. And both of you, two heads are better than one. We always hear that lingo. And you guys will make sound decisions collectively as a unit. So make sure, fellas, that you have better decision making. Also, women, we know that you guys have your money, but also both incomes is in the household. So make sure that you're making better decision making with the money financial part of it, because you might be out here blowing Birkin bags, and your man might need you in a bind because all of this stuff is coming down, and um, unplanned bills also occurs. This is why they always told us growing up, making sure that you have money for a rainy day. That's where the saying comes from. Always have money for a rainy day, because you never know. Life isn't planned out perfect for everybody. You're going to be ups and downs, and there's going to be curveballs thrown at you at any given moment. How you handle it and how you resist it will make you more effective, especially as a unit and going forward. So your man, even though he don't have you paying the bills, you also got to keep it in mind to also keep a reserve amount of money just in case your man needs it, and not going out there spending it recklessly just because your man isn't asking you for money or asking you to participate financially within that household. So you also have to have better making skills as well. Next one, improve relationships. That is very important as relationships are connected and grow. You guys are growing every day, and you got to make sure that you're growing every day, because everybody isn't perfect. We all have things that we can improve on. Some things don't improve overnight. It might be a process over the year. Um, and celebrate those big wins. If you're seeing your mate improving in something that they lacked on, or didn't really was good at, and they're improving, point that out. Be like, hey, babe, I watched you. I seen you. You were walking once a week. Now you're doing it 3 times a week. I really applaud you on that. Or
Mhm.
hey, as a husband, I'm watching you, doing things around the house, and you're improving your health and you're eating better and this and that. And I appreciate that. So acknowledge each other on improvements, because when you do that, you're giving people a sense of life. You're breathing life into them and showing them that what they're doing is on the right track. And when people breathe life into you, it makes you want to go even harder, especially whatever you're doing. Higher levels of happiness. Definitely need more happiness in your life, because there are going to be times that you're going to be sad. It's just part of the cycle. You're going to have happy moments, you're going to have sad moments, you're going to have high moments, you're going to have low moments. So try to keep a lot of happiness around, so when that you do hit your low moment, you don't fall too far down. Because if you don't have no happiness and you hit a low moment, man, you're below ground zero, and that might again lead you to something fatal like suicide, what we talked about earlier. So we don't want you to get to that level. We want to make sure that you guys are staying and being afloat and way above sea level when it comes to things like that. More confidence builds a lot of character. Confidence also builds self-esteem, which gives you more self-awareness. So understand how powerful building more confidence is. Better job satisfaction, and better leadership skills. Definitely. Every day you want to be a better leader. The more you become a better leader, the more you're able to lead more people, because they're going to look for your guidance to help them, because you're leading by example, and that's the best way to do it. So these are the points that I broke down to you guys. Um, Appreciate y'all for tuning in and listening to that. Fellas, you had anything you wanted to say about that, or add on anything to that?
I mean, it was spot on, man. You pretty much said it all there. You know what I'm saying? Like that. That was a very well laid out and very thoughtful presentation of self awareness, and how helpful it can be in just day to day situations. And I just think that, we have to really um, continue to
Mm,
push that in its entirety, like whereas, we kind of
sorry.
we just kind of bring it all out. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
we're not just giving you a term and kind of loosely defining it. We're kind of drilling down and really giving you, real world applications, that you can use this self-awareness thing in. It was very broad. You talked about employment, you talked about personal, you talked about romantic relationships. Um, and I think that those are some of the best placements for how self-awareness can help you. So that was great.
Dope, dope, dope. All right. So
Yeah.
we're definitely going to go into our first segment, which is trending weekly topics. So our trending weekend topic, this one is hot off the press. Um, I think it's a very sad one, but I definitely want to start off with the sad one because I want to lighten up the mood later. But we had a female officer that was gunned down and killed in Chicago. 4 teens were charged in the murder of this 20-year-old woman, Mrs. Preston, who was gunned down at I think it was like 1:30, 1:24 a.m. in the morning, um, because she was getting robbed by these teenagers. And her being an officer, she's licensed to carry a gun. She shot at the teens trying to rob her, and the teens shot back, and they end up viciously killing her in the crossfires.
Wow.
And it's so sad because our queen right here, Miss Preston, definitely did not deserve this. And I want to read the reports of what happened. So the 24-year-old Ariana Preston has been identified as the female off-duty Chicago police officer shot to death overnight on the South Side. On Saturday, May 6, 2023, around 1:42 a.m., Chicago police received a Apple Watch emergency notification and a shot spotter alert of 9 rounds on 81st and Blackstone. Around 2:15 a.m., officers were sent to the area to investigate. When they arrived, they found Ariana laying in her front yard, at least 9 gunshot wounds to the body. The officer immediately rendered aid and called in a 10-1 emergency after seeing she was a CPD, which is the Chicago Police Department. Those officers rushed her to the U of C hospital, where she was pronounced 0110, which is deceased. CPD says Officer Preston has just ended her shift when she pulled up in front of her house. Multiple shots were fired. At least 20 shell casings were found in the bullet holes in her home. No other information was given about the shooting. A CPD procession took place the morning from the hospital to Cook County Medical Examination Office. Officer Ariana Preston has served 3 years of the force and just completed her master's degree in criminal justice. She worked out of the Coleman 5 district on far south side. So I definitely wanted to, talk about this because it is so sad that, the teens range from 19 to 16, and 4 of them got charged and arrested. And one of them was on the phone with his mother and admitted that he was caught up in a robbery. And a lot of times we get on the parents a lot, but sometimes these children some of them are raised in good households, but they're wrong. They're around the wrong individuals. I remember growing up, I had my parents. My parents were very solid about the knowledge and resources given to me for the school and that I was going to, and helping me to get to where I needed to get to, gave me the best opportunity to get the best education. And even though I was a person making straight A's, um, what happened was I hung around this one dude because he was a cool dude in school. I was the nerd. He was a cool dude. And I started going downhill. Now, my grades didn't drop. It was just that I was getting into detention and extra activities behind it. And that was a sign that I was falling in the wrong direction. My mother did damage control, and she was like, "Hey, I talked to your father. I'm gonna send you to your father to go live with your father." Now, me and my father always had a great relationship, but my father was distant from me, and I went to go live with my father. And I think that was the best thing that ever happened, was living with my father at that time. And I say that because when I came back down to Florida, um, a couple of the guys that knew me was like, "Hey, you remember that guy you used to run with in high school?" And I was like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." He was like, "Yeah, man, he got locked up 10 years. He did a 10-year bid for strong arm robbery."
Wow.
So had I not had I not been down, had I still been down here, had my mother not had got did the damage control and called my father, and had my father not accepted and said, hey, you know what, send my son. He didn't even hesitate. He was just like, send my son. That's it. And had he not did that, I probably would have had a way different path than I did. I probably would have ended up doing 10-year bid along with him as well. And that had nothing to do with my parents. That was me not being self-aware of myself and my situation and understanding how I was placed in a good situation. But I wanted to feel cool, feel like I was running with the in crowd. And the reason why I say that is because the same thing that happened to me is what I see in Ja Morant. And it is that guy that was afforded great opportunities. And now he is somebody that's out here doing things for the notoriety or the coolness or the praises of people that don't really matter to him, but he just don't want to be that nerdy guy or that uncool kid. So you're doing things to overcompensate that, and now that has gotten him in hot waters. And I think it's very common for a lot of young boys to get caught up into that. And this is why the reason why we need more male mentors to be out here to combat that. Because when we were growing up, we had mentors as well. And some of our drug dealers, our local drug dealers, believe it or not, were mentors. And their drug dealers we grew up with is different from the drug dealers we're growing up with now. When we were growing up, a lot of the drug dealers knew our parents. And even though our parents knew they were drug dealers, they still had respect for our parents. And they would be like, yo, listen, I don't want you in these streets because I'm going to whoop your ass. Or they would go and tell their parents, like, hey, man, I see him over here, you know, hanging out with these dudes, and I think you need to check him on that. So we had mentors around us that watched us. And over the years, a lot of that depreciated and depleted. And now you have a lot of these young boys running around that don't have male mentors or male guidance or somebody that's a strong male figure to say, nah, that ain't the way you run it. And I'm gonna show you the opportunities to make sure that you don't fall down to those ailments or fall into traps that's lined up for you. And I think that these young boys needed that, and they didn't have that. And because they didn't have that, they end up now throwing away their whole lives because all of them are going. I don't see any of them coming out no less than 25 years,
Agreed.
if that,
Yep.
and their lives just barely started, and now it's gone because they don't play with officers. And this is a Black woman at that. You're all men, you're young men, and you guys shot down a Black woman as if she was just a side kill, like a roadkill, a piece of dog. 9 bullets in there. That was somebody trying to really end somebody's life, and that's sad because you guys knew this was a woman when you robbed her. Because, like we always say, and a lot of our elders and people that are out here that do look out for the community have always warned people that the softest targets are always the women and children. Those are the vulnerable targets in our community. And we have to protect those. We have to protect our women and protect our children. And for the young adults to just gun her down like that, for her to have 9 bullets in her, is very sad. And the reason why I wanted to bring this up on tonight's show, is because we need to do better than this. Something has to be done. There has to be some solutions out here to counter the craziness that's going on, especially within the minds of these young individuals.
Yeah.
So I'll turn it over to you guys so you guys can drop some gems to people that might be out there watching and give them some advice that they definitely could need, because everybody has a 16 or a young adult that is heading in this direction. So what are some of the things that they can do to try to combat that?
Garbage in, garbage out. You know what I'm saying? The first thing that comes into my mind, I know it's not the primary thing, but the first thing that I think of when I see that is a lot of this multimedia that these kids are consuming. That's the first thing that pops into my mind. You know, they listen to shit music where somebody's always talking about killing somebody, usually somebody black. They watch shit television where you got a bunch of black folks running around cooning and buffooning. You know, a lot of them are supposedly thugs. You know what I mean? And as you pointed out, for whatever reason, there's this correlation between being a thug and being cool. That's just how it is. You know what I mean? And that's kind of on us. We kind of allowed the thug thing to run too far to the point where it got that, where there's this intersection between, oh, you a thug, so therefore you're cool, right? So they watch shit TV, they play shit video games with nothing but violence, just continuous violence, 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 violence. You know what I'm saying? What Kanye said on the interview, I hate to quote Kanye, but he was right about this. You know, I'm a kill this nigga. I'm a bang your chick. I'm a bang your chick. I'm a kill this nigga. I'm a bang your chick. I'm a kill this nigga. And it's that drum beat that just says, you know what? It's okay to just kill somebody for no reason. You know what I'm saying? It makes it desensitizes an individual, especially someone underage with a very impressionable mind. You know, it really desensitizes them to the point where they don't feel the gravity of taking a life. I've been around such individuals in my life. I know. I have a very similar story to yours. My mom sent me to go live with my dad in California, you know, when I got to a certain age because I started smelling myself, kicking up dust, whatever, you know, and so I had to just I needed someone that could show me how to properly channel that male energy. You know what I mean? So it didn't become violent and it didn't become, you know, something that would be a detriment to me where I did something sick and wasteful like what these young men did. You know, it's despicable. It hurts me to my heart to even hear about it and read about these type of things. But that's kind of why we're doing this show, right? This is one of the solutions. Having, you know, a panel of unks or big bros, you know, that some of these young cats can listen to. I saw a cat today, a younger cat earlier today was rapping with him. I gave him the link, told him to check us out because we talk about these type of issues, you know, and you know, I say and I challenge, you know, those of you out there, and I put it on you. Hey, if you're feeling this type of way and you caught up in something like this, reach out to us. We have usually, you know, I know for myself, I can definitely say I've talked people out of certain things. I've talked people off the ledge before. You know what I mean? I've really impacted young people's lives. I did mentoring for 10 years after I left high school and while I was in high school. I was in dropout prevention. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, I was able to reach some of those people. So before you go and do something crazy like this and literally throw away your life, you know, reach out to somebody. It ain't gotta be me, but I'm here, you know, but reach out to somebody and talk to them and sit down because you know that this ain't the way. You know that this type of thing, you know, ain't it, and you shouldn't be running with these type of characters. You know this, you know, and it's just an extraordinarily sad situation, and I pray for the sister. Um, I, for me, the thing that bothers me the most is that they felt like they had to kill her. It was okay to kill her. I'm not saying that it's okay to rob people either, but you know, at the end of the day, you don't have to kill someone if you want to take what they got or whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? There's no returning from that. And once you killed someone, you know, that's a stain on your soul forever. That you can't bring that person back. You know, so the gravity of the situation is so bothersome. And back to our topic of self-awareness, You know, when you're young and impressionable and you don't know shit, you don't know your ass from a hole in the ground. When you're that person, you know, there's no way that you can be self-aware enough to really understand the many levels and the gravity of what you're doing when you commit such a heinous act, and how it will impact you forever, how it will impact your loved ones forever. You just can't understand that. Um,
Mm.
and that's what's so heartbreaking about that. In addition to, the obvious, the sister was murdered. My heart goes out to her family as
Mm.
well. But you got
Yeah.
on both sides of this, two families have been destroyed. You know what
Mm.
I'm saying? For the worst. Worst possible outcome. This is going to be. It's going to leave a mark, and we have to develop more solutions for our young brothers to keep them out of this type of lifestyle, and that's why I'm here, and that's why I'm having this conversation right now.
Great point. Great point. So yes, it's six families that's destroyed. I think they
Yeah.
arrested a fifth one. There was a
Mm,
fifth one, but I think I forgot what it was, why they didn't name him in there. But there's a fifth one. So you have those five boys, and then the woman. Also, I looked up on her page. She has a beautiful mother that's still alive. So you
mm.
can imagine she's going through this weeks before Mother's Day, expecting that her daughter was going to be alive to enjoy Mother's Day with her daughter.
Right.
Um, and watching your daughter, it's so hurtful. And I was so disgusted by it because you have these boys that are really on low life energy. I'm pretty sure they ain't doing nothing great with their lives.
Right.
And then you end up killing. I'm not saying that if she was this dirtbag woman that it'd be okay. Killing is okay regardless.
Right.
But you have a model citizen, a phenomenal woman that felt like she wanted to dedicate her life to help people because she chose to be a police officer,
Right.
right? So not only did she live her life the right way, she went through school, she was getting the grades, she ended up not only completing the BS degree, which is the bachelor's degree, but she went on to get her master's degree. So an additional 2 years. So she did 6 years of schooling. Maybe did it less.
Exceptional.
I don't know her path, but I'm just saying the normal way is 6 years to get your master's. But she did all of that and then went out in the field just to get killed by some low lives. It
Uh,
weighs heavy on my heart because this girl really was out here just living her best life and enjoying and about to enjoy the seeds and of what her that she was about to enjoy the fruits from the seeds she planted, and really be out here prospering, and also would have been helping her mom in the process because a lot of the police officers, they do have good benefits, they do have perks, and a lot of that could help her mother, and for her to achieve all of that just for it to end in one night. It's just very sad. At one something in the morning, even an officer doesn't even feel safe being out there. That says a lot.
it
And
does.
stuff have to change, and we have to do better. So, like you said, like Major said, you guys can contact us. We'll get resources because sometimes people are ashamed. But you can hit us up at Manversations 2020, just like how the platform says, at gmail.com. We'll look out for your emails, and we love to assist anybody we can assist. We're here. So use us if you need the resources to get what you need to get accomplished or the help that you desire so much and need. We'll be here and try to extend out as much as we can. And I'll hand it over to Drake to chime in on that.
Um, it's just disgusting that this woman had to lose her life the way she did for nothing, for
Mm.
absolutely nothing. Um, I'm reminded of I can't recall where I heard it first. I've heard a couple people say it more or less. Um, I heard someone tell a story about an OG that pulled him aside, and he was speaking from his experience. He'd been incarcerated, I believe, for murder. He did a long time. He was locked up early for it too. But I think he did like 25, 30 years or something like that, and he got out and he was using his experience to try and talk to younger brothers and get them to see that, you know, that side of life isn't something to aspire to. It's not something to engage in. It's not something to be involved in whatsoever. And he was telling a story, and he was building a really good rapport with the guys, the fellas. And he said, and I'm probably doing a terrible job of paraphrasing this too, but he basically said, "How many of you all would buy $1 for $50?" And they kind of like looked around, kind of confused, like, "I'm sorry, what'd you say?" It was like, and he held up a dollar bill. He said, "I got a $1 bill right here. How many of you all would buy this from me for $50?" And none of them saw where it was coming from, so they kind of thought it was like a joke or didn't really get it. They were like, "No, we wouldn't do that. That's crazy." He's like, he walked in, he was like, "Would you, like, I got a dollar right here. It's brand new. It's fresh, straight out the bank, crispy and everything. You wouldn't buy it for $50, not even a wrinkled old $50 bill. You wouldn't buy it from me?" Like, "Nah, man, I'm straight." He said, "All right, how many of you all would buy 50 years of incarceration for 5 seconds?"
Hmm.
He said, "'Cause that's all it took for me." He said,
Wow.
"It took me 5 seconds to pull the trigger on that gun, to blow away the person that was in front of me. And that 5 seconds cost me 30 years of my life."
Heavy.
That's all it took. 5 seconds,
Heavy.
not even time to probably sit down and think and maybe, mull it over a little bit and consider and really weigh the pros and the cons. Nah, just 5 seconds. Almost a blink of an eye. A decision that he made that took 5 seconds cost him a chance to go to college, if that's what he wanted to do. If he I don't know what the rest of his background was. I don't know if he was an athlete or something. If he had a scholarship or athletic scholarship, that was gone. Any prospects he may have had of joining somebody's sports league, if he was that good, that's gone. Could have missed out on a significant other, the love of his life, children, that's gone. Chance to get a decent career, that's gone. Because he did this, he wasn't exactly a teenager, but he was a young man when he did this. So this is the bulk of his life. So pretty much his whole working years are gone. It's already tough enough if you commit a felony and you get out when you're in your 20s or your 30s. You're already gonna be strapped trying to find work and employment at that point in time. But 30 years away, if you're not 50, you're well on your way there. So you completely phase out the workforce. Now you 50-year old looking for work on top of that, no work history whatsoever.
Wow.
How you gonna feed
Wow.
yourself?
Wow.
And we know that recidivism is a huge issue in the criminal justice system, where you get out, you've paid your debt to society according to what they say, and now you still
Hmm.
can't find employment. You're not allowed to return to your regular life to resume your life as a citizen. You now become a second, or if not a third class citizen. You don't get decent opportunities, and that's one of the reasons why a lot of people, once they commit crimes, they get trapped in the cycle, because now to actually make a living for myself, to try and rebuild a life for myself now, I almost have to turn to crime. I can't get anything legitimate. You got me out here working jobs and it's no disrespect to those who do it, but you basically got me out here working jobs that are more in alignment with uh, a high school student or a college student.
Yeah.
Can't pay no rent with these jobs. Can't put proper food in my stomach, clothes in my back. Can't afford to pay a car or gas money. Can't afford to properly date. Maybe even build a love life. Whatever. life is hampered because of this.
Right.
But all that is, but those are all other issues that come down the line. But the point is, ultimately, you shouldn't have been in that position in the first place because of a 5-second decision. However, I am sympathetic to the things that lead up to that, and I'm going to say that as men, I'm going to put the onus on the men. We need to do a much better job of creating opportunities out there. Now, this is something I've been adamant about for years and years and years now. I'm speaking to the people who are visionaries who have the resources out there, but they don't have the idea, because we have a huge disconnect with that. We have people that have ideas and don't have resources. We have people that have resources and don't have ideas. So for the people who have the resources and you're looking for a solution sincerely, I'm going to put this out here. You could do so much more for these young brothers if you were to build a McDonald's, a Burger King, a Papa John's, were to build a little small chain fast food restaurant near somebody's high school and make it your business to at least primarily target those high school students for employment and give them job opportunities. Give them opportunities where they can get some responsibility. They can be trained for management, not just coming there and just, flipping fries and burgers or flipping pizza dough or whatever, but actually training them for leadership opportunities. Let them get some legitimate money in their pocket. They can actually go ahead and get some legit money. They can take the little girlfriends out on dates or whatever. They can go ahead and buy some kicks that they like, some decent clothes, whatever, little phones, what have you. Take maybe one Saturday, one Sunday out the month or two, whatever, and just have like a little 1 hour long meeting with them. Just talk about some issues. Just have real grown folk talk with them. Put them up on game. Serve in that space. A lot of these youngins get in these situations, whether it's gangs or otherwise, because they're looking for family. They don't have any role models in their life. Some of them do it for protection. Some of them do it because of lack of opportunities, but they're operating in survival mode. And the problem with operating in survival mode as a way of life is that survival will call for you to do some things that in a legitimate emergency work just fine. But it's not fitting to operate on in the long term. Right now, if you're in a situation, if you're stranded out at sea or stranded out in the wilderness, whatever, you can't find any clean running water, and you're at a point where dehydration, the risk is real, you can actually drink fresh urine. Because when it's fresh, that's mostly water in your system, whatever. If you need to survive to make it to the next second until you can find rescue or whatever, you can drink your fresh urine and recycle and put the nutrients that you excreted back in your system. You can do that. It's fine to do that. I would not recommend, however, day in, day out, you're drinking your urine as a replacement for water. That's not going to work too well.
Uh-huh.
You can do the same thing in the wilderness. I've also seen in documentaries and stuff where they go over survival tactics. If there's large animals like elephants or horses or whatever, you can even filter out water from their fresh dung. Again, survival purposes. It's not pretty. It's not attractive. It's not going to end up in anybody's culinary cookbook. But you can do this to survive, to preserve your life in an emergency.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you don't want to walk around drinking shit water and you look at the sound about on a regular day basis.
Right.
I'm saying that because the things and decisions and choices that we make for survival purposes are not fitting for everyday life.
Real talk.
But you have a lot of people who, for one reason or another, they're in survival mode. So for them, maybe sticking somebody up for a little rinky-dink ass Apple Watch or a little Galaxy Watch, it might make sense in the moment if they can't see beyond today. But when you see that 5-second decision cost you 30 years of your life, it's not worth it.
Real talk.
The problem is, if you can't visualize 30 years ahead, what incentive do you have to really value that 5-second decision?
Yep.
I remember a line from Johnny Depp's character, John Dillinger, in the movie not Law Abiding Citizens. It was I think it was called Dillinger. When it's talking about Dillinger's life, and he gave a quote somewhere in the middle of the movie where he said, "We having much too good a time today. We ain't thinking about tomorrow." A lot of people don't think about tomorrow. and they got to eat the consequences of things they did today.
Mm.
We need to do our part to make sure that we're creating opportunities for these young people so that they don't see tomorrow as being far-fetched, where they actually feel like they have a future to look forward to. And so they actually actively plan, they come up with vision boards. They can actually go ahead and do mind mapping. They can think about long-term goals. I want to do this. I want to be this. And it's not some pipe dream for them, but they actually feel like they can actually get to that point. Now, at that point, if they choose that they still want to continue the path that they're on, that's up to them. But I'm a firm believer that if people make bad decisions, it should never be in a position because they did not have any alternatives. Give them opportunities, give them chances to choose better, and let them make up for their own mind whether or not they're going to do what's the best thing or they're going to do something else. But it should never be a case of, I didn't have an option. And for some people, unfortunately, at least in their minds, it is that. So that's what I'm going to say on the situation. I'm disgusted, and I could easily lash into the boys. I want to, and that's what I have in my chest. But at the same time, I know that's not going to do too much good. They made the choice they made. They're going to have to live with that the rest of their lives, and that's going to lay into their ass much worse than anybody else ever could.
Mm.
If,
Definitely.
I'm hoping that these seeds will maybe take root in somebody, and this will provide an answer that someone has been looking forward to. But you're going to do a whole lot more of that than some youth center. Our kids don't need another damn park to play basketball in.
Yeah.
They don't need another damn field to throw a football in. We got
Exactly.
plenty of those as is. We need some spots that's going to give some opportunity, give some responsibility. Get our kids thinking in a future context that doesn't involve professional sports. If you're not an athlete, or if you can't make it to somebody's sports league that has a cap on it, there's only so many spots. If they can't do this, well, that's it. That's the only way out. We need people to put some legitimate options in front of these kids' face that doesn't call for them to be supernaturally gifted and talented. So
Definitely.
hopefully that's do something forward. I'm hoping that creating futures and paving futures will make so that more people can have futures. My condolences to the sister who passed and to her loved ones into the city.
yeah.
Yeah.
I got anything else.
Definitely.
Listen,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Go ahead.
Real quick, let me just interject this too. I also want to talk to the young brothers out there directly, and talk to you a little bit about having patience. Because when I'm listening to this story and I'm seeing these four young cats, that committed this act and how it panned out and so forth, it reminds me of a story that I have that's kind of similar but not really. Real quick, me and a homie of mine, very dear friend of mine, Charles Conte, R.I.P. to our brother C Murder, aka Charlie Brown. Good, solid brother. I used to always be on Charles, to come to work with me at Publix. I started working when I was 14. I was a bag boy at Publix, right? And I get my little money. It wasn't much, but it was enough. I'm a kid in high school, well, junior high school. You know what I mean? And I used to always bother dude to come and, work with me at Publix. Come on, man, I got you a job. You make a little. And he used to laugh. He started stealing cars at the same time I started working at Publix. And the idea was initially he said he was going to come to Publix with me. We was going to work together. And he started stealing cars the next week. Then he started slanging dope a couple months later. And later on in life, he ended up, at a very young age. He must have been still in his 20s, like 27, 28. They killed him in his car, shot him up inside his purple vert. And, me and all the other dudes who went to work at Publix, that's me, Carlos, Stanley, Tyrone, Peter, like the whole clique, we all were working at Publix. Even Devon, we were all working at Publix. We're all extremely successful today. Anywhere between, somewhat successful and extremely successful, but we all have some degree of success. We're all doing very well. And that one brother who never came to come work with us in Publix, unfortunately, he ended up getting killed. And if he would have been patient and just waited instead of gravitating to that fast money and having to have everything now, having to have everything instantaneously, if Charles was smart, I know Charles would have did very well. You know what I'm saying? But this is back, we get into that hyper materialism, right? And we start talking about self-awareness. And he knew that he wasn't perceived as fly because his clothes wasn't top notch and he didn't have the jewelry and this and that and the third or whatever. But I mean, you in middle school, man. You understand what I'm saying? Sometimes it takes time for things to develop, and
That's
as
true.
young cats, y'all really, really gotta understand that. All these cats that's out here in the videos with all the jewelry and the clothes and the females and the cars or whatever, number one, two, and three, you're not even there yet. But real talk, they capping. A lot of these cats, they don't even have all that. A lot of these cats are broke. You know what I mean? It looked like they got money, but it ain't even there like that. And, if you are patient and you do what you're supposed to do, you can refer to main source, watch Roger do his thing. Large Professor talked in that song about a dude who went to school, did what he's supposed to do in life, checked all the boxes. He was just patient. And he talks about later on how Roger's a Casanova now. He's swimming in women. You know what I'm saying? It's real, y'all. It's real. I come from that. A lot of other cats that I know came from that. Some of the cats that I know that was raised in the hardest part of the hood, down in Brown Sub Projects in the Rockies, where I spent time growing up. These guys, one of them, he runs a city. We're gonna have to have him on this show. This guy runs a whole ass city. You dig? It's real, y'all. But you gotta be patient. You gotta take the time and put in work. You expect everything overnight, and you gravitate to shit that is going to come to you instantaneously, and that is one of the biggest follies we make as young Black men.
I agree. Totally agree. That was great advice. Very important advice. I know one of y'all said earlier about McDonald's. I think that was you, Drake, that made the McDonald's reference, filtering our children through the school of McDonald's. But I know, I think the key is getting these trades back because they took a lot of trades out of school, and trades is definitely a instantaneous lick, which is an instantaneous bag. And the reason why it's an instantaneous bag is because you can work for a company, come from the company, and work home doing what you do. So a lot of these young cats, they love to draw. You can paint cars and you can do ceramics on cars and make thousands of dollars even at a young age. So I think we got to implement the balance of trades for those that because not everybody is built for school. I'm gonna be real. Not everybody's built for college. Some people don't want to go to college, but they have phenomenal talents and a lot of trade skills. I watched a lot of these young boys building stuff. Remember, a lot of these women would buy a lot of these furnitures, especially IKEA and stuff like that. You got to build that stuff to yourself. But they'll get their little sons, and their little sons would get the little wrench and be, and then next thing you know, you done built this whole furniture, and you're like, God dang, you're pretty good with your hands. Or you got the little kid that's running in there with a tablet. He like, even my nephew, God bless the dead. But when my nephew was alive, he grabbed the tablet from me and was like, yo, oh, no, man, you got to do it like this. And I'm like, God dang. And this boy's 8 years old. And I know how to operate the iPad better than me.
They
So I think a
fast,
lot of
bro.
times, yes, a lot of times I think we're not directing their energy and their full potential to different variations of
True.
how success is. And I think a lot of times we just think college, 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 and not trades and different venues and avenues that could really get them the bag too, and also help them to survive because they might not image-wise fit in the corporate world or in any job industry. You know, they always tell you to cut your hair as a young boy. But when you out here in the trades, as long as you good at what you do, they don't care what you look like. I see a lot
Right.
of white boys that fix cars that have punk rock hairstyles and the shaved side of their heads is shaved with tattoos all on it. But these
Real
boys are
talk.
pretty good at
Yeah.
fixing cars. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? So I think you know, if anybody out there, any men out there, or even women out there that have a plan, maybe we can start. I don't know if there's a nonprofit into trades. You know, I don't know what we could do, but we could start funding our own trade places and institutions, whether you're doing it out of a warehouse or whatever. But I think that'll be a good way to funnel our children off the street by getting them in there and teaching them these trades, and also getting funded doing it by, you know, nonprofit or whatever the case may be. And there's a lot of companies that benefit for giving money to nonprofits, especially if you're doing it for a good cause. So if anybody has any ideas about that, you know, reach out to us, manifestation2020@gmail.com, and let's get this solution going. Because I think we need to be more solution based than anything else. And I just wanted to make that point out there, so that way we can go forward, because everybody's not going to make it in basketball. Everybody ain't going to make it in rapping and all these other things that's going on that they feel like in football, they feel like that's the money wave, and it's really not. You know what I'm saying? There's other avenues to do it. And we need to get their mindset on that and head forward. Now, I definitely wanted to play this video real quick and show you the powers. Now, you know what? I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to let you, and you guys tell me what you noticed. All right?
All right, go ahead, man.
Was
All
running.
right, hold on. Why is it not clear?
Who's most likely to hack into your social media? Who is most likely?
Okay, so I'm gonna ask you, based on what you just saw, what did you notice?
Well, I mean, I noticed that the father got a lot more points on things that I wouldn't expect him to get points on. I would expect the mother to get those points, and the father got those points. That was crazy to me.
Drake,
Yeah.
Drake, what you notice?
I was actually to point that out as well too. But in addition to that, it did sound as though in terms of discipline for the most part, in terms of, you know, being that person, they definitely recognized that that was Pops doing his thing there as well too. However, it did seem like more of the mm, I don't want to say soft as in it doesn't matter, but it did seem to me that more of the softer things, like, you know, keeping secrets, whatever, they went to mom about. So it looked as though they know that dad comes off a bit more as not no nonsense, but a bit more structured. But it almost felt, just going based off of that, as if he's a little bit more engaged, because they did also say who's more likely to miss your events because they're working, whatever, and they did point to her. So it felt that maybe whatever it is that he does allows him to be more present and available for his kids than she is.
This
But
seemed like
again,
he's a
that's
better
just
parent. That's what it looked like to me.
Yes, I definitely wanted to highlight this comment by Lowell, that the father is willing to do what the mother isn't willing to do as it relates to the feelings of the children. So he'll hack their accounts to make sure their children aren't being trifled.
no coddling.
And
Real talk.
I thought it was super dope about how he was in their accounts, he was monitoring them and making
So this one,
sure that they wasn't with the foolery.
Yeah.
And you saw all the kids like, Dad, Dad. He was in, and
unanimous.
that's the problem. That's
He
the
just seemed
problem,
like a better
because
parent.
when we go back to the young men who these young adults that savagely killed this police officer, a lot of times these single mothers don't even know that their children have a gun in the house. They don't know what they're doing on social media, right? They don't know none of that. They're clueless because
Right.
mom's worried about this, this, and that, and that, and that, and she's not even focused on the youth in her house, her sons in the house. Father's like, shit, I know what go down. Ain't
Yeah.
none of that going down.
Yeah.
We're gonna keep it real and we're gonna keep it gangster. And this
Yeah.
is why, and this is no slight. We're not here to slight men and women. We're here to state facts. This is why they say single fathers raise children as if they're in a two household system, and single mothers don't. You see that. You see the reason why. You feel me? There's a balance between the two that works. That's why these children respect their parents, one, and they love their parents. This is why you see it's not just to everything to the mother, and it's not everything to the father. There's a split reaction. Even with certain things, there's certain children that react that will point at the mother, and certain children that was pointing at the father at the same time.
Right.
So that lets you know that their functionality of that household is very healthy and very respectful.
Yes.
And that is why it's important that we always talk about unifying with somebody that brings out that element of healthiness within you. Your
Balance.
partner, we talked about this a couple of episodes ago, where I broke down about how your mate is your co-pilot. As a man, you are the pilot. Your mate is your co-pilot.
Right.
You guys are on a plane. The passengers are your children or your friends and family, right? And you have to go to this direction. You're focused on the main parts of the plane, and your woman is focused on the other parts. This is why we have successful flights back and forth daily, going everywhere. I promise you, if we had one pilot and not two, we would have a lot of accidents out here in the air, a lot of deaths. So understand that your mate is your greatest asset whenever you're foundationally building a family and out here in society. Just know that you guys run together as unity like that produces productive offspring. And a lot of what you saw in that video is just a mere glimpse of what was going on back in the early 1920s, which the Black Wall Street. This is the type of structure they had back then, the type of unity and the type of respect. And that's why we have so many offspring of children that were out here doing phenomenal things, because they had a balance. They had the divine femininity of their mother, and then they had the masculinity of their father. And the combination between the two was into all children, and they were on no BS terms, and they were out here handling business.
Mhm.
Now we have the fallen elements of it, and you're starting to see the repercussions of it. So definitely wanted to break that down to you guys. Anything you guys wanted to add on further with that?
Man, I just say this. Like I said, what I noticed, it was kind of glaring to me. The kids were pointing at the father for things that you would normally expect the mother to do. And overall, it just seemed like the more important things were things that they knew the father was going to show up at. They knew the father was the more important things that they listed were things that they all pointed at the father, and he just seemed like the better parent. And I'm not saying that to take a slight at sisters. I'm just, responding to what the video said to me, and that's unfortunate. Because it points to some work that definitely needs to be done. I'm not saying that she's not a good mother, but maybe I read too much into things, right? But it looked like from that video, there are some holes in what she should be paying attention to. You know what I mean? Like, it just, that was kind of mind-boggling to me. Some things I just definitely felt that, oh yeah, this is definitely gonna be the mother, and she's kind of, see, it sounded like from that she's kind of absorbed with her career and preoccupied with other things and not really paying a lot of attention to the kids.
That's what I was thinking. And
You
that's
know what I
what-
mean? And it's like, damn, that kind of hit me in the head a little bit. Like, okay, I didn't see that coming.
Or
Or
because I want to play the devil's advocate on that.
go for
I
it.
want to give a little credit to her. Let's just give her a little credit to her.
Talk me off the ledge.
Maybe
Yeah.
he is such a great leader that sometimes women be like, you know what? You handle that aspect of it. Maybe he handles that part better. Because guess what? It's also in cooking. I know people who are in relationships where the man cooks,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Because she might not have nobody to teach her. You know, her mother might have died at a young age. She didn't learn anything. And maybe he learned from his mother, and he's a phenomenal cook. That's not a knock on him. It's just whoever, because we're functioning as a
delegation, yeah.
unified, functional family. So whoever is the strong point of it, come in with it. So I'll give her that bit. I'm not, you guys make great assessments. I'm not knocking that.
Right.
I'm just
right.
going to put the opposite side because we don't know. So I'll
True.
just give her that part. Maybe she backed off and said, you know what? Because he looked like he's a strong dude. I mean, as smart as much as he looked, he smiles and he's innocent looking. The way the children are like him,
Hey.
that lets me know he's very forceful or very, I wouldn't say forceful, but more stern
Structure.
and strict on certain things that he wants done in that household, and they respect that. So
Could
I
be.
think she kind of gives leeway because she has the luxury now. So she gives leeway and says, all right, you handle that because maybe I'm not good at that. Because guess what? I always tell people this, and it's a very strong dynamic from when we watched earlier couples, right? But in
Yeah.
a foundational household, who's the good cop?
The mother.
Who's the bad cop?
The father.
Father.
The good cop never plays the role of the bad cop, right? So
Right.
the bad cop is the disciplinary, which is the father is. The
Right.
good cop is the nurturer. And that's why I always say a lot of women fail because they feel like they can raise a man or raise children on their own like that. But the problem, the difference between you and the statistics back it up, between you as a woman and a man is that it's hard for children to respect their mother when they come right behind and coddle them or soothe them and comfort them. Because
That's
that's the
true.
role of a mother. The mother is a nurturer.
Yeah.
So she's going to nurture her children. So it's hard for children to
Right.
respect you when you beat them and then you have empathy and sympathy and be like, baby, I just cooked your favorite meal. Come eat.
Right.
So I don't learn the lesson.
Confusing. It's confusing.
Yeah, it confuses
Real
them,
talk.
right?
Mhm.
So with the father, you know he ain't play no nonsense. So soon as he come through the door, you know you did something bad. Now you know your father ain't finna sit here and coddle you. He
Right.
gonna get that belt
Just
and
wait
whoop
till
the
your
shit out
father
of you.
gets home.
Yeah, exactly. Wait till your
Yeah.
father gets home.
Mhm.
That would spook you, right? You get your
Still
ass
spook
whooping,
me.
and your mother will sit there and be like, sit at the table and eat this food. Did you learn your lesson? Yeah, ma. And you cut that shit out quick. That was the power dynamics of a household. You
Yeah.
knew the bad cop boy didn't play no shit, and he never sat back and tried to coddle you because he knew that's not his lane. His
Right.
lane is to make sure y'all don't do this no more. The
Yeah.
mother's lane is to be like, okay, we're going to study and review it. Did you
Right.
learn your lesson? Now, baby, here's something to eat. You see what I'm saying? So understanding the power dynamics of it, I just want to put it, I want to give them that leverage because they look like a great family. And
They
I
do.
think that's the leverage that they have. And I just wanted to point that out. But that was a super dope video.
I like that. Good one.
Yeah.
Good one.
Definitely.
Right.
Now, I will say, we got to go to the extreme opposites now. Y'all ready?
Boom. Go for it.
All right.
Go for it.
So remember back in the day, we had this. We had Cardi B responds to
God.
criticism for
Okay.
not allowing her young daughter Culture to listen to WAP, right?
Mm.
So there was an outcry. It was, got backlash because she was on the video, and as soon as her daughter came in, she was playing WAP, and as soon as her daughter came in, she was like, oh, and turned it off real quick. And she got so much backlash from people about it, like how you make music and then you don't want your daughters to make it. So why would you make music for my daughters to listen to it and you profit off of it? And she got a big backlash from it. And remember, we talked about it too, and we held it to the fire on that one as well. But guess what? History repeats itself. So Young Miami doesn't want her daughter living a city girl lifestyle. The irony of these women, that they project an image out there, they project a lifestyle out there, they talk about things, but then want to shield their own children from the nonsense. So it's okay for you to push this venom to other children and other parents to suck it up, and they push it to their children. But when it comes to your household, nah, it's off limits. That sounds like a modern day drug dealer.
Yeah, it really does. It really does. And I mean, I can't think of anyone who says more despicable things on record than these two. You know what I'm saying? Like, as far as women are concerned. And the irony is just mind numbing, right? Like, seriously, you don't want, you're in a group that calls itself the City Girls. That's your profession. This is what you do. And you have the nerve, the audacity, after you feed this poison to other people's children, to come out and say that you don't want your children to be susceptible to this. So I said this the other day on a post, predictably some dummy is going to come on and say some stupid shit about, well, what's wrong? What's wrong with it? They not role models. They ain't signed up to be role models. Okay, if there was nothing wrong with it, this moron wouldn't come out and make that statement. Even she knows there's something wrong with it, and your stupid ass is up here trying to convince me that there's nothing wrong with it, because you're so brainwashed and so encompassed by celebrity worship and celebrity ass lick that you can't separate yourself from yourself long enough to see that this is just morally wrong. We have a moral problem with a lot of these birds out here that are setting their daughters up for failure and promoting the very lifestyle that is going to cause hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of others to fail while you're profiting off of it. There's a special place in hell for people like that. I think the scripture is, cursed is he who leads the blind into darkness, or something like that. I'm paraphrasing, but I think I might be right. But I mean, at the end of the day, you're doing this, and you're not just making the music. You're making these interviews with these breathtakingly ignorant sound bites. You like to be pissed on. I think they call her a toilet girl in some circles now, because she's coming out talking about how she likes to be peed on and all this type of crazy shit. And she came out the other day in an interview and she said, I'm a whore, with the W. Well, I'm a whore. And the guy, and this moron that's interviewing her is like, what do you mean? Like, what am I watching? She said she's a whore, dumb nigga. What do you mean? What does she mean? So we're at this point where people are so disconnected from life, and disconnected from reality, that when somebody just straight up tells you what it is, you still want to question it. You don't want to accept that this person that you admire, because Young Miami is admired by a lot of people. Cardi B is admired by a lot of people.
Sadly.
You don't want to accept that this person that you admire so much is embracing these type of principles. You know what I mean? That, broadly in society are considered low life principles. You don't even want to accept that because you're so trapped in your mind, and you're so caught up in the matrix, that you don't want to be let down to know that this person is this type of person, even though everything that they've done has telegraphed to you that that's who they are.
Mm.
I mean, it's my God, and my thing is this: I worry about the youth, and not just the youth, but other impressionable dumbasses that are adults. People always talking about the youth. You know how many women you have out here in their 40s, 50s, and 60s mimicking the behaviors of Cardi B and Young Miami? You have no idea, man. When I used to promote, I used to be in a club. Iguanas was like the centralized spot. That was their headquarters. Every week, you see some grown, mature, older woman out on the dance floor,
Sure.
twerking with the purple and orange hair, and the dragonfly wing drag queen eyelashes, 60 tats. Like, yo, are you scratching your head like, what the hell happened, bruh? Because I was raised by women who participated in the civil rights movement. You understand what I'm saying? Who were part of the struggle, who taught me, the struggle, who had me listening to Malcolm and Brother Elijah Muhammad, Farrakhan, all these people. I must have been 7 years old the first time I went to my first Farrakhan lecture, because this is what was on their minds. These are the type of women that I know. You understand what I'm saying? And so to see other women in their same age group behave this way is the weirdest shit to me. I don't understand it. We get into, and it's not just women, by the way. We happen to be, talking about Young Miami, whatever, but we're in this weird space where unfortunately a lot of our elders have failed us. And that's why you have so many of these young people walking around, even to speak back to the other story, where a young man killed a female officer, whatever, for absolutely no reason. Who was in their head? Because I know they didn't learn that from listening to Elijah Muhammad and Malcolm X. I know they didn't learn that from listening to John Henrik Clarke or Asa Hilliard. But, and people always ask this dumb ass question. I swear I just want to slap their teeth out when I hear them. Why are you worried about it? Why am I worried about it? That's a person that spoken like a true coon. And that's a person who doesn't have any concept of the youth are the future, like for real, for real. And the more you fail our youth, the more you fail yourself, because when your stupid ass get old and you need somebody to come take care of you, and you haven't instilled the proper values in your children and have participated in us not instilling the proper values in other children, they ain't gonna think your old ass is worth preserving either.
Well,
you dig? I'm just saying. Lowell said, I'm naming all the heavyweights. That's because that's what I grew up on, brother. That's who I listened to. And that's part and parcel of why I turned out to be who I am. And a lot of these parents, man, they have no idea themselves who these people are to even put their children onto.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we got a lot of work to do. Got a lot of work to do. I'll land my plane there.
No, I hate that question with a passion. When they ask stupid questions, well, why are you so concerned about it? Ask Officer Ariana Preston why are you so concerned about it.
Right.
Ask her. Ask those young boys who are now going to give their best years to the beast.
Right.
Ask them about it. Because I remember there's always some controversy that pops up when these entertainers' real life is brought into the spotlight. And I remember it wasn't as big as some of the others, but there was a little bit of a backlash when Jeezy when he posted pictures on his social media, whatever, of his son graduating from college. I think he went to Howard or Morehouse or something, but he graduated, did pretty well for himself. Was an athlete on top of this. So he had good grades. He's doing well as a football player, I believe. And the overall sentiment that was put out there was, you know, Jeezy got his son out here going to school, graduating with honors, and and doing well in football programs, while he tells your sons out there to go trap and die and go and sell snow out there, whatever. And there was a whole little backlash, and then there's the whole celebrity idolaters and worshipers. Oh, but that's not a role model. He didn't tell you to go out there. Why you listen to him? Okay.
You can't fix stupid. You just can't.
No.
But
And
yeah,
again, it's never a problem until the issue lands on your doorstep. Then all of a sudden you want people to rally around you and come to your aid and to support you, and all of a sudden it's no, the village, we need to bring back the village.
Exactly.
they
The
see no
village.
correlation between the shit that you promote and co-sign and allow your kids to listen to that you know is slackness and all this bullshit that's going on in the street. They see no correlation, bro.
Everything big was once small. All these things that you refused to shut down and cut down when they were little. These small weeds that you refused to pluck out the garden that you growing.
Mm-hmm.
Now you got a big ass thorn bush. You got a big ass WTF tree growing in your yard. You can't do a damn thing about it now. You just gotta sit back and suffer and just hope that it ain't as bad as you know it's going to be. But when you had the chance to step in and chop it down early, you sat back and you just thought it was cute.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, stop hating on them. You need to find something else to do. Mind the business that pays you.
Right.
Why are you worried about it?
Right.
That's why you're worried about it, because we're trying to prevent the worst case scenario from popping off while your goofy ass sitting right there fiddling and Rome is burning.
Right.
Exactly.
Stupid in, stupid out. I say it all the time. If you have a steady diet of dumbass, fake ass hip hop, this new rap shit is not hip hop. You understand what I'm saying? These mumble rappers and this trap shit, that's not hip hop. You have a steady diet of that, strip clubs and reality TV. Stupid in, stupid out. You not gonna do no fly shit. You understand? Like, or if you do, it's an absolute miracle because you keep getting all this garbage pumped into your head. And at some point, it's gonna manifest itself in a negative way. That's the long and short of it.
Yeah.
What you feed on is what you be on. Period. End of
That's
story.
it. Yeah.
And this isn't even conjecture or spitballing. There's at this point countless studies and research that's been done all over the world showing this very same thing. The stuff that you entertain and put in your mind on a regular basis, it comes out like
Right.
anything else.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It's called
Yep.
programming for a reason. What you train your mind to think and operate and think of comes out.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Plain and simple. So if this is, and people talk about, oh, well, it's just entertainment. You have to learn how to just channel it, take it in and channel it out. But if that's all that's coming in,
that's it.
I mean, for God's, and you know what? Let's go out on a limb here. And let's say that there's nothing wrong with listening. This is just entertainment. Okay. The very least you could do is be balanced.
True.
You got this garbage. You taking this garbage in, but you got some positive, solid stuff on the other end of the spectrum to balance you out. But the problem is, these people don't even have a taste for the positive stuff.
No. It's 100% slackness.
So you can't even balance it. You can't even take in the ratchet stuff and then mix it with the positive, holistic stuff. You don't got a taste for that.
Right.
Or if you do, it's very little. It doesn't take much. It's just like, this is another one of those universal principles, because the same thing goes with your health. If you're accustomed to eating junk food, McDonald's all the damn time.
Yes.
Everything comes in a bag with all kind of preservatives, all manner of ingredients that you need a PhD to pronounce. You can't
Right?
begin to decipher what the hell this is. It don't even sound like it's even from this universe.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
And this is what you keep on eating day in, day out.
Yeah.
When people come talking about vegetables, come talk about carrots and broccoli and celery and spinach and all kind of natural stuff that's actually good for you, you're gonna roll up your nose. That sounds nasty. That's disgusting.
Right.
You barely eat it. And if you do eat it, you gotta baptize in all kind of oil and grease and fat and lard and sugar and OD salt and stuff. And by the time you're done with it, it's not even recognizable. It may as well be the same bullshit you was eating before. In
Right.
fact, in some cases, the bullshit you were eating before might actually be a little bit more healthy
Uh-huh.
than this abomination you created with this nonsense. But why? Because you don't have a taste for it.
Right.
It's for your taste buds. You are accustomed to fake shit. You
Yeah.
have no taste for the real shit.
Yeah.
This
And
isn't
that's the
about
question.
food.
And that's the question, right?
This
Why
isn't about
is
food.
it
Plot twist.
right?
You're
Why is
accustomed to
it
the
that
fake
we
shit. You
have
don't like
such
the
a
real shit.
right? Why is it we have such a taste for the fake shit? Why is that?
Because
Why
that's
do
what
we
you're
have such a
accustomed to taking in. And also, you're also accustomed to taking it from very early. Again, if this is the stuff, remember, Young Miami says she don't want her daughter to be on this. Cardi B said culture ain't gonna be bumping this. Jeezy said my son ain't gonna be knocking this.
mm. But who are their examples? Just saying.
And the
Exactly.
funny
So,
thing about this, and I doubt any of them are gonna be listening to this podcast, but hey, things happen. I'm gonna
Yeah.
say this: be careful with that.
Be careful.
Not just from a whole divine retribution, karma, you reap what you sow type of perspective, but be careful with that because I'm gonna tell you right now, and most adults, I'm sure, if they're honest, will be able to agree with what I'm saying. What you tell your children, most of that they're gonna forget over the lifespan. They're gonna forget your words. They're gonna misquote you. They're gonna whatever deep dope thoughts you thought you were giving to them, the game you thought you were gonna give to them.
Right.
Most of that's gonna go out the window. Some of that stuff, maybe if you gave them 1,000 gems over their lifespan, you'd be lucky if 10 or 15 of those actually register and actually remember what
True.
you actually said, because that's
True.
just the nature of human beings. Unless they have like a eidetic memory, whatever, where they can just hear or see things and they just don't forget it. They're gonna forget what you told them, but your actual
Your
influence, your
actions.
behavior, what you did day in, day out, the way you lived your life, oh, that's gonna stick with them forever.
That is.
That's what's gonna make that impression. So young Miami can tell her daughter that, oh, I don't want you to be a city. There's nothing wrong with being a city girl. I'm not even gonna get into the gross hypocrisy that I'm gonna leave that alone. It speaks for itself.
Man.
You can say there's nothing wrong with it, but I don't want my daughter to do that. I want better for her. You can do it all you want to.
Uh-huh.
But
and
what
then,
do they know best?
yep.
What did mama do day in, day out? What was she better at than anybody else? What was she the leader of the new school with?
Exactly.
I
And
pray
that
for
usually
them.
kids tend to go ahead and evolve. They tend to go ahead and take it to the next level. So whatever baton we pass to them, they tend to outdo us with it. So
Right.
if your lifestyle is being the thought supreme, don't be
Mm.
surprised when your daughter's smutting stuff out worse. Tokyo Tony, Black China, anyone?
yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, I went there.
Mm.
I went there.
Yeah.
I
Hey,
So
went there.
with
that
skates
all
on.
that all aligns back with the self-awareness, right? So you got to
Yeah.
have the self-awareness
See how we
and
did that?
understanding.
See how we just did all that together and pulled it right back? Look at that. Voila.
Yeah.
Look
So
at that.
that
Look at
all
no
comes
no
down to
hands. No hands.
self-awareness. And if you don't have proper self-awareness, you're
Mm.
setting yourself up, and not only yourself, but your offsprings as well, your children, up into a trap. And we have a
Yeah.
video that will show you exactly what we mean by that. All right?
Put at the top of a jar filled with grains. He was so happy to find so much food around him that he no longer felt the need to run around searching for food, and now he could happily live his life. After a few days of enjoying the grains, he reached the bottom of a jar. Suddenly, he realized that he was trapped and he couldn't get out. He now has to fully depend on someone to put grains in the jar for him to survive. He also may not get the grain of his choice, and he cannot choose either. He now has no choice but to eat what he's given. A few lessons to learn from this. 1. Short-term pleasures can lead to long-term traps. 2. If things come easy and you get comfortable, you are getting trapped into dependency. 3. When you are not using your skills, you will lose more than your skills. You lose your choices and freedom. 4. Freedom does not come easy but can be lost quickly. 5. Nothing comes easily in life, and if it comes easily, maybe it is not worth it. Don't curse your struggles. They are your blessings in disguise.
Love it. Love it. Powerful.
Definitely wanted to show that because that would lead in.
Major keys.
Man.
That definitely leads into what we want to bring up, which is I want to bring up 2 points of that. We have a lost sense of delusion. We have a lot of delusional women out here because we don't check it, and we want to sit here and give people body praises. And when you check it, then you talk about your body shaming. What you're doing is you're setting that person up for failure because now they have a delusion that when you go out here and tell them that they're pretty when they're really not, they set that their high self-esteem up. And then guess what? They go out here and they do things. And then when it slaps them dead in their face, now they're coming back asking y'all what the hell happened. That's because you never told them the truth. So I want to play this video, and then I want to show you this meme.
I can probably have whatever the fucking guy I want to.
A bullshit? A bullshit? A bullshit? A bullshit?
Yeah, sexually, I can probably have whatever the fucking guy I want to.
A bullshit? A bullshit? A bullshit?
All right, so she says that she's been going around talking about she's a baddie, she's this and that, and she can have any guy sexual that she wants to get into, that she wants with. But guess what? What happened? Self-proclaimed baddie cries in an Uber because she's a 10, but men at the club don't think so. So your delusion come back and bite you in the butt. Now you're crying. Now, guess what? You're already plus size. Crying also can lead into a habit of eating. Because you get into a depressive mode. Maybe depression, your depression I should say, your way of getting over depression might be indulging in food. And now you're going to become bigger than what you are already. These are why we sit back and say things so that way you can stop the nonsense and the delusion and really take action on curating and having something that is tangible now, because now you're working on the real issue. And once you work on the real issue, now you can get the results that you want to get. And but if you're stuck in that stage of delusion, then you're not going to get the results you want. So with that comes when we talked about the video earlier. One point that the video mentions is that when something comes to you too easy, maybe it's not worth it. Y'all remember that?
Oh God, yes, yes.
All right, so I definitely want to get into this video.
Are you ready to reinvent yourself from your current style of art to a revolutionized, re-energized Black consciousness form of art? Because if you are willing to reinvent yourself as the queen of Black conscious music, I will stand by your side. Are you ready?
You want to fuck Dr. Umar, right? Yeah. So how would you shoot your shot with Dr. Umar?
But I love a Pan-African king. You know,
King Kong.
King Kong consciousness. I'm very pro-Black, so I care about my people. And I feel like if I was to pick somebody to fuck on, it would be Dr. Umar. And that's what I said in Grinch. Fuck Dr. Umar, leave him woke right now. I want to fuck Dr. Umar, leave him woke right now. Because I do got that woke pussy. If I was to meet Dr. Umar, he would shoot his shot with me because he going to see me black
Oh,
chocolate conscious queen.
oh God. Oh God. Oh God. Why? Why, bruh? No.
I just want to make a public announcement, Dr. Umar, please. As much as you talk about building before back shots, please don't go down this road.
Not this one, bruh.
Not
No.
this one.
Oh
Because
my God.
Look,
remember, you went down this road before, and that's what got you caught up into the whole school scandal because they found out that you was out here dating a conscious stripper. You know, and I remember when I interviewed him at my show, I interviewed him back on a radio show way back in the day. I think it was 2014, 2015, might have been about 2015. And I remember we was in the studio, we was off air, and I said to him, I said, Dr. Umar, when you out here fighting for your peoples like that, you got to make sure that you are solidified in your relationship. You are somebody who's married. You know what I'm saying? I know that's what Tariq did. Tariq went and got married. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And when you're in that space of being married, the distractions or anybody that has any kind of false love for you is out the window now. They can't get to you because you're already married. The problem with Dr. Umar is he's still trying to find his queen. So he might get blindsided like he got blindsided before and fall into the trap. She might be setting him up to come in, luring him in. And if he takes the bait, you don't know what other shit she might switch on. Because she doesn't have a credible foundation when it comes to anything close to the conscious community. Remember, she was just co-signing about getting peed on the other day. Now she has a song talking about he want me to switch and now I'm eating his butt. So if he engages in this type of woman, you're going to really lose a lot of credibility. And the way he was talking, like he was about to risk it all. He looked like he about to risk it all. And I'm telling you, brother, this is a plea. I respect you.
Don't do it.
Enough to say this. Don't cross that line.
Bro.
Don't do it.
Reconsider, re-solidify. Sure, I understand that.
Listen, man. The thing that kills me is how she talk about how pro-black she is. If you were really pro-black, you wouldn't carry yourself like that, sister. That's the long and short of it. You know what I'm saying? That what you're doing is you're exploiting black womanhood.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? In the worst way, you're objectifying black womanhood, and it's not the business. I'm rooting for you. I'm shocked out of my wits to even hear her say that she's so pro-black. If you're really pro-black, sister, you'll get off of that shit. You know what I'm saying? And I would love to see that because hell, Black China got off of that shit. That I damn near fainted. I was like, what? She did what? You know what I'm saying? Now hopefully this lasts. Hopefully it lasts, right?
Yeah.
But Black China got off that shit. Brittany Renner got off that shit. Like I'm seeing a lot of unspotting lately. You did? And it's encouraging because that shit ain't no good for sisters. You know, I want to see more sisters out here spitting like the MC Lights back in the days and the Queen Latifahs and the Lauryn Hills even. You know what I'm saying? The Simply E's, Bahamadia. I would like to see more of that because at the end of the day, you can't come out here even with the white media behind you, you know, doing all this press release stuff for you that's talking about, you know, you're empowering this and you're empowering that. I say like my mom said it, what's empowering about shaking your ass? You understand what I'm saying? That's the long and short of it. It's bullshit. And you know, the white media will go out of its way to portray black women in a light that makes them unsuitable for marriage, because that undermines the black family. So they know exactly what they're doing,
Yep.
but we got too many coons taking the money and running. You understand what I'm saying? And we got to tighten that up, because all this shit that you see is just cooning. That's it
Yeah.
at the end of the day. This is slave play. All these
Correct.
women out here, that every time you see them, they bend over and toot their ass up in the air. You a fucking coon,
Correct.
behaving like you on a plantation somewhere. That's the long and short of it. You
Correct.
understand? And I don't like to see that. I like to see sisters truly be empowered. See Dolores Tucker and others back in the day that were riding so hard on rappers and talking about how the negative imagery that was
Sure
too
was.
much being put out on women. They were right.
Yeah.
They were right. I'm saying it. You know what I'm saying? They were right. And, I want to see sisters win. I don't like to see sisters like that. I would love to see Suki come out, like Dr. Umar said, and be the queen of conscious rap. I would love to see that,
Correct.
but I don't take her at her word that, she's that she would do something like that, or that she's really that pro-black because of her actions. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just don't take her at her word. I can't take a person like that seriously. People like, Betty Shabazz and Asada Shakur and, others, these are women that I can see as pro-black. Even if you want to talk about now, as far as women in the industry, Erica Alexander, I would say that sister is pro-black. When you come out, you take a stand against things, you're unapologetic, you're not, trying to do something strange for a piece of change, or conducting yourself like you are. You understand what I'm saying? I can't take you seriously that you so pro-black when your latest song that you got out is about I ate a nigga's ass. You lost me.
Yeah.
If you lost me, sis. Like, and I'm not even beating up on the sister, but come on, bro. Let's keep it a buck. Nobody's taking you seriously if that's what you have to offer to the world. That's the long and short of it. It's a shame, because these are nice looking sisters, and unfortunately, they're just not showing that they're really offering anything but their nice looks. You know what I'm saying? Not even in the form of music that's appealing to listen to, or that's actually talking about anything worth listening to.
Correct.
Go ahead. What you saying? Drake?
What you saying,
What you
Drake?
got?
Drake, you up?
I mean, again, the main thing I'm going to be selfish at this moment and say, look, I know we've had our differences, Elon, or as my girl, my homegirl calls him Muskie, Elon, Bezos. I know we've had our differences. Well, Bezos, you send me my stuff on time, so we all right for the time being. Look, at some point, y'all need to hurry up. Time is ticking. Get these damn SpaceX Blue Earth rockets working. Get this damn Mars colony built so I can get up off of here. I need off this planet. It's a madhouse. You need to try again. Look, and again, it goes back to self-awareness. A lot of these women in particular are going to just go ahead and push it too far until ultimately they can't push it anymore. And that's what some of those names of experience, your Brittany Renners and them, your Chinas, they're not leaving the game voluntarily. They're getting shoved out the game. The writing's on the wall and they're being unceremoniously tossed out. Last calls come and gone. Bars closed, the club is shutting down. They getting tossed out on their ass, and they finding out, oh, there's no retirement package. I'm not leaving the game with my chips up. In fact, I'm leaving the game at a deficit. I'm in debt. I came in here, maybe with something to my name. I'm leaving out here, and I got to get the coins together ASAP because it ain't hitting. And I mean coins metaphorically. I'm not ain't no dudes checking for me. Ain't no opportunities out here like that. I'm washed up. I'm a joke. I'm a has-been. I gotta try and find something else.
Mm.
And as they say, the best time to quit was, or in this case, the best time to quit was yesterday. Second best time is right now. But you got to understand. I've talked before about opportunities and how opportunities work. You don't get unlimited opportunities. No
Real
one does.
talk.
And you also don't get to control when your opportunities pop up. There's no easy button or now button you can push where all of a sudden all the opportunities that you postpone will reappear for you. It doesn't work that way. So, if you already have gone down that road, you're already in rough shape. The best advice that can be given is get out ASAP. Now you ain't gotta go through a no problem process that you don't have to go through a whole exit interview, whatever. Just abruptly vanish, get up out of there ASAP, and try to get your life back on track. The longer you take, the less likely you're gonna have much to show for it. But again, like I've said before, the exit is worth, if you don't get any bonus perks for leaving and abandoning the game, just doing it is enough in and of itself. But y'all got to recognize when you coming up bankrupt. This is not a game that you retire from whole.
Yeah.
Look at all the women that have come before you, because again, this moving this way, it's changed somewhat for the era that we're in. This internet now, you got social media and stuff, these different platforms, what have you. You can be on wax and promote the lifestyle in that way, shape, and fashion. But if you take a look at the women who've come before your predecessors, do the whole VH1 type where are they now bid, ain't none of them sitting pretty.
Come on now.
The
Yeah.
ones
Come
that
on
are
now.
doing okay for themselves, typically they got it by jumping into something else.
Real talk.
And
Real
that
talk.
stigma, that reputation, again, self-awareness, that reputation that you have cultivated for yourself, it's still going to follow you everywhere you go. And
Yeah.
while you should be able to rehab your image, while that is true, at the same time, you have to understand we have freedom of choice. We are blessed by God with freedom of choice. We live in a society where we, at least allegedly, have the freedom to choose. You can choose your path. You can choose what you want to do with yourself. Nobody has the authority, especially once you're an adult, nobody has the authority to tell you what you can and can't decide for yourself and what to do with your life. No one can do that. Only you can do that. However, freedom of choice does not mean freedom from consequences, good and
Right.
bad.
Come on now.
So
Real
whatever
talk.
decision you choose today, you're gonna have to eat those consequences. Now, some of those consequences may be great. Consequences don't necessarily have to be a bad. The consequences are just simply the results of actions and choices and decisions made. And those results can be positive, they can be negative, they can even be somewhere in between, in the middle. But you are not free from them. So you don't get to make these decisions that are unfavorable, that aren't looked upon properly or respected well. And then once you decide to make an about face, say, well, I stopped doing this. You can't judge me for this.
Don't work like that.
That only exists in your mind. There might be some people who are willing to just, erase the slate and let you get a fresh start. Good to them. Kudos to them. Salute. There's a lot of people that are not going to do that. And that might mean you're going to take some L's.
Right.
That might mean some opportunities are completely off limits to you now. So now you might have had a chance to this in the past. And now that door's shut. You ain't never going to get in.
Once your
No,
face dirty.
getting praying's going to get the door open either. You've excluded yourself from this.
Right. Once your face dirty, it's a wrap sometimes, man.
And you got to ask yourself, ultimately, is this worth it?
That's the key
Is whatever
question.
I think I'm getting, back to what we talked about earlier with those young boys that took that sister's life. 5-second decision. Was it worth it? The hell that's going to come for, the pain and agony the people that you love and who care about you are going to go through because of what you did, the guilt that you're going to have to carry in your chest, whatever. Was it worth it for them? I'm pretty sure the answer is going to be no, it wasn't.
Hell
And the
no.
same can be said for you. If you're making these decisions out here, do you want
Yeah.
that stigma on your chest? Hell, Do you want your children to live with the stigma of having a goes beyond just you? Let's stop being self-centered and narcissistic. It ain't all about you. Can your children, can your loved ones
Right. But that's a stain on
stand
your
the
whole
pain? Like,
family. You disgrace your family.
maybe you built like that. Maybe your shoulders are broad like that. Maybe you got that thick skin. Maybe you can handle what's gonna come with that. Cool. What about the people that you love and who are close to you? Can they stand the flack that comes from being associated and affiliated with you? How are your
Not
children gonna
likely.
feel when career day pops up and people's moms and dads are coming in and this one's a lawyer and that one's a plumber, this one's a computer technician, this person's a local councilman or whatever, and well, you can't
You're a
even help
murderer.
families because the principal of the school doesn't want you popping up to help because of your profession. That's happened.
Hell yeah.
Modeling OnlyFans, and now the school found out, so they don't want you to be involved in fundraising for your school, your child's activities. This is this is real life that we live in, real friggin' life.
And people
we
think
only
it's a
get
game.
mad.
Yeah.
People think it's a
Self-awareness,
joke.
you got to think, make your next move your best move. You got to be able to think 5, 10, 15, 20 steps ahead.
Exactly.
You can't blame nobody else for what you chose to do, and maybe other people are wrong for living this way, but this is the world that we live in. It's not the world you might want. You have to move accordingly. Even if you think that we should move in a different direction, you got to build towards that. But meanwhile, this is what you got. Play the cards you have the best way you know how. All right?
Definitely, man. That was definitely dope. We're gonna wrap this segment up. But before we do and head into our next segment, I just want to show you guys this, break this down for you guys real quick, and then show you a little 2 quick videos to back that up. So the first one I want to get into is feminism. It is the ideal that women are free when they serve their employers, but slaves when they serve their husband and children. And then you have the delusional ones that can't pick. What do you want to do? You want to be Miss Independent or being spoiled by your man? And that is a hard question for you, because you want to be on this black girl magic thing so bad that you're willing to give up a good man in returns for it. We had a woman who made a video talking about hyping myself to go into my 3rd week as a new single mother of 6. Come on, we got to stop with the delusions and making sure that we are out here doing things that's productive, not only for yourself, but for your children. And I want to play these couple videos real quick of some sisters giving
Do not address me as a strong, independent black woman. It's not a compliment. I never hear a man that is raising children alone say, I'm mom and dad. He never becomes overly feminine because he's raising children. But we as women become overly masculine because we are raising children, because I'm mom and dad and I got to do all these things, right? And now I put extra stuff on me and then I say, ain't nobody helping me. Well, nobody told you to do that. There is help available, all because I was trying to overcompensate for what daddy wasn't doing. I didn't have to be mom and dad. Now they got Mr. Chris and Mr. Eric over here. And I took them to be a part of different organizations, because when you think of something strong, you do not think of coming to the aid of it. So when we are looked at and walk around as strong, what we're putting out is, I do not need assistance. I don't need your help. So anytime a man says, oh, I love it, you're so strong. I said, no, I'm not strong. I'm resilient. I'm not independent. I'm interdependent, because nobody ever comes to the aid.
Yeah. So
that sister got a lot of sense.
Yeah, she does.
Shout out to
I would
her.
argue that if an older woman had told this younger lady or any younger lady that this is how boys see you, if you do that, you would act differently if someone had told you that. I think men do a much better job of checking each other, because men see themselves in younger men. Women see themselves as younger women. So a man...
Yeah.
Shit! That's a whole show. Whoa! Whoa!
This fake microphone so I can drop it.
Yeah. I had to
Get that one out the park.
I had to drop those 2 pieces in there.
Does she have a license for that firearm? Is she busting it?
God damn! Oh! Somebody's
Lamborghini
asshole
Merc.
burning right now, boy. Damn.
Yeah.
Hold up now. Men
How's that?
see themselves in
Can
younger men. Women see themselves as younger women.
Yeah.
God
can we
damn.
rewind that
Whoa.
one time? Can we
Whoa.
rewind that one time?
Huh?
Selector Malcolm. Can we run that video back one more time?
Bring it back, Selector.
He said, bring it
Shit.
back.
I would argue that if an older woman had told this younger lady or any younger lady that this is how boys see you, if you do that, you would act differently if someone had told you that. I think men do a much better job of checking each other because men see themselves in younger men. Women see themselves as younger women. So a man...
Shit. Whoa. She cleared the room with that one, bro. Whew. Okay.
I want to know how it is she managed to perfectly recreate
Wow.
that Tank Davis liver punch. Because
Shit.
Ryan Garcia, we just saw you lay down that the other week. What you doing back?
That was lethal. That's lethal, bro.
Definitely.
And she's spot on.
This is why, you know, no need to brag on our show, but this is why our show is ranked pretty high up there. You know, we're a new show, but we are dropping so much gems and people are storming to this platform like wildfire. Because what we're actually out here is giving you guys the realness. Like nobody's showing you the realness. Like the stuff we do, I filter through these videos to get you the real talk, the real knowledge, the real gems.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The show goes on for hours, but there's no part of the show where you don't get gems dropped. So understand that, man. You know, this platform is so super dope. You're going to become somebody sharpened by the time we're finished with you. At least this year coming through. By the end of this year, you should be so sharp that you're untouchable. And that's what we're going to do here for you at this show. So I know there's some dope stuff. We're definitely going to get into our next topic. Well, I not say topic, but we're definitely going to go into our next segment, which is question of the day. All right. So our question of the day came from this fella, and he said, can stepkids or your own kid break up a happy home?
Absolutely.
So that's the question of the day.
Absolutely. Absolutely. No question. I mean, I've seen this happen a number of times. You know, I used to, back in the days, I used to have one of my ex-girlfriends had a child, and her, you know, I moved her in with me. And so I was kind of acting in a stepfather capacity. A lot of people don't know this about me. But yeah, you know, it was the kid was a great kid, but this other parent, which is a part of the kid, you can't really separate the kid from the other parent, right? So, but this other parent was really unruly and reckless and, you know, always kicking up dust and saying outrageous things like he's going to kidnap the kid. And so we scared to let him have the kid for the weekend because he's talking about taking the kid and leaving the country and all this crazy stuff. That's not the kid's fault. But this other person that has a link to this kid forever, this is somebody you got to deal with. You know what I'm saying? So in that capacity, you know, that those type of things were ultimately the things that led to the breakup of what we had. We might have stayed together had it not been for this lunatic outside, you know, interjecting all his toxicity and so forth. And there were other crazy things that went on with this individual, which I'm not going to get into, but it was just a wild situation. The other side of that is kids not having the proper respect for the stepfather or stepmother and not exuding, you know, respect and humility when dealing with them. The kids not being mannerly and properly trained You know, if you got all these baby kids, you know, and they're, you know, obnoxious, especially if the stepfather or stepmother, they're not allowed to abuse them because this is your child. I mean, what do you do with that? You know, there has to be order in the home, period. You understand?
Exactly.
And when you bring these little changelings into a house, you know what I'm saying? And these kids are not properly mannered. They're not, you know, you can't even really blame the kids that much. You really got to blame the parent because you're supposed to teach your kids how to behave in the proper manner. You're supposed to have your kids in order, especially, you know, if you're, you know, coming into the situation and the other person doesn't have any, and you do, you know, your kids have to know how to respect the household. Anytime there's not order in any way, shape, or form that has to do with the kids, it's going to be a huge problem. You know, it's going to be a huge problem. So, and I've seen that up close and personal before. And look, I empathize with people. You know, we got a lot of these people who made decisions at a young time in their life where their mind wasn't fully developed or whatever. They decided to have a child. Now, you know, this, of course, you know, having a child is a lifelong commitment. And the people that you meet, you know, unfortunately, you got a whole other personality coming now into your home where you have a child with this other person who has a whole totally separate, different personality. And then you have your personality. That's a lot of personalities. You know what I mean? And if something ain't right, if the respect ain't there, it's a problem. My thing is check all that before getting into that situation. If that's something that you're comfortable doing, fine. You understand? But you need to properly vet that entire situation before getting into it to make sure that everybody involved is level-headed and everybody involved has the respect and the interest of everyone's family respectively being able to move forward and be productive. That means the kids have to be well disciplined and well behaved. Nothing's perfect, especially when it comes to kids. They change sometimes, whatever the case may be, but at least going in, you need to verify that and verify that this other person, the outside influence, is of sound mind and body, and they're not a lunatic. You understand what I'm saying? We have a lot of problems, especially with these baby daddies. They always think they have some type of claim to their baby mama. Very common problem, you know, and so they're always trying to flirt with the baby mama, try to do this, try to do that, try to use the kid against the baby mama because they know that that's going to make her react and give him what he wants, whatever the case may be. You cannot have a manipulative, vindictive person on the other side and think that that's going to result in something positive. It just doesn't work, especially if you're an alpha male and you don't play that shit like me. You know, it's just never going to work. So I say vet the situation. In addition to vetting the people, vet the situation more broadly and make sure that it's a sound situation for you to get into before you even consider it. And it is case sensitive.
I'm not even going to detail into. You said pretty much everything I was going to say. All I can say is if you're going into a situation with stepchildren, I've been in that situation. Vet the children, see how they react. Do they appreciate your leadership? And if that's not the case, then don't even engage in it. It's going to be a headache and problems. If it's your own children that's unruly and stuff like that, then that's self-reflection on you as your parenting skills, because your children should not be breaking down, destroying a happy home. So that's something that you should be on top of and engage with. You really don't have say so with stepchildren, but your children should be on the same page as you, should be on the operating functionality as you want them to be. So if they're unruly, that's poor leadership on yourself. And that's all I have to say about that.
Real talk.
Drake?
No, I absolutely agree. It's true across the board. It's another universal principle. Doesn't matter if it's business or if it's in the home, team reflects leadership.
Mm.
One of the reasons why in politics they make such a big deal about politicians having families, especially the higher up they go, some positions you can't even consider even being nominated for certain positions if you don't have a family in place, because
Right.
when you talk about leading other people, people want to get an idea of who you are, what you're about. Even if it's complete BS and just for optics, people still ultimately want to see, how does this person lead?
Mm.
What's your resume like? If they're looking at your home situation and seeing that this man has no control of his household, his kids are unruly, they're wild, they spaz out, they're doing drugs and everything else, whatever. They're saying that, well, this woman, her husband's a bum, that the kids ain't doing nothing, whatever. They're seeing, well, how is this person gonna try and govern all these people, however many people or whatever the size of their constituency is? How is this person gonna effectively manage and lead all these other people and their households and make decisions for them when you can't govern the little damn household you got right there?
That's fair.
Mm-hmm.
That's
It's
fair.
very fair.
Yeah.
You only got a handful of people to manage in your household. You got your spouse, significant other, and however many kids you got, and hell, family pets if you got any of those. You can't handle that. They don't respect you and your leadership and your presence, but you expect everybody else who doesn't know you from a can of paint to do that.
Yeah.
Making
Outta
makes
here.
sense.
You
Yeah.
on out. So team reflects leadership. Now, we understand that when dealing with different people, you have personalities and temperaments, and sometimes it's not as easy as that. Some jobs, plain and simple. Some kids are easier to raise than others, plain and simple, just based off biology. This is what it is. And sometimes that gets easier over time, sometimes it gets harder over time.
Mm.
And sometimes the kid you had off top is the kid you got, period. The kid came out well behaved and just was never any behavioral issues. Some kids, from the moment they came on the other side of the womb, was a problem. But ultimately, how you manage and how you deal with that is your responsibility. This is your responsibility. These are your
Right.
children. You brought them here. Whatever ease and bed of roses you have, or whatever hardships and difficulties you have, that is your responsibility. One of my favorite phrases and sayings and philosophies for responsibility or for accountability is, it's not your fault, but it's your responsibility.
Mm.
I had a situation at work the other day where there's a new role that I've been placed in. There's some added responsibilities that I have on my resume now. And we're a couple weeks in, and caught some flack in the office from one of our directors about something about some stuff being out of place or not being in accordance. And because that's now my primary responsibility, I'm hearing about this such and such and such, and they're talking about some of the things that's off, and I'm like, this ain't got a damn thing to do with me. I don't know about any of this. This
Right.
was definitely, I don't know who this was, but this was before I was at the helm, because this stuff they talk about don't even make sense to me. But
Yeah.
in that moment, I could have said, but that's not my fault or whatever. And I actually did say that. I said, well, just want to let you know that I don't know anything about that. Something that you said does sound like it could apply to me, so I'll make sure to watch it. But I said, but I'll do a better job in the future. Ain't
Yeah.
got a damn thing to do with me. But guess what?
Yeah.
It's not my
Yeah.
fault, but it's my responsibility, and I'm gonna
Responsibility.
take it. I'm gonna own that. And I can
Right.
guarantee you now that going forward, I wasn't aware of this, but now that I'm aware of it, it happened once. I bet it ain't gonna happen again.
There it is.
Because even if somebody else drops the ball, the very fact that I now have a share in this, I'm gonna make sure that even if I unfortunately got to carry the load for somebody else, I'm gonna
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah.
But I'm still gonna do what it takes to check other people, let them know, hey, look, this ain't just you anymore. I'm in this now too. So whatever chucklehead stuff y'all had going on, you're about to mess with what I got running.
There it is.
Not my fault, but it's my responsibility. That ownership.
Agreed. Mm-hmm.
So if you're a single parent out here, father or mother, before you even consider getting back into the dating game, you need to make sure that you got your children straight.
Yeah.
Whatever
Big
issue
deal.
they got, whatever therapy that y'all need to get as a family,
Mm-hmm.
if it could be individual counseling, do that. Make that investment. First and foremost, you should be doing that for their own well-being all by itself.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm not going to get anything else, but that should be happening for their own benefit. But even if you're taking them to counseling for your own selfishness, they're still going to benefit anyways.
Correct.
But either way, you're looking at bringing somebody else into your situation that you've got going on. You need to make sure that that's a clean, smooth transition, as smooth as possible. Shouldn't be no hiccups. Should be minimal bumps in the road.
Right.
Correct.
Because again, this is your responsibility. It's not their fault. They're not on the hook for this. But it's the least you can do as a common courtesy.
Definitely.
Do that for them. Do it for your children. Do it for your own stability, your own peace of mind. A lot of parts benefit from you moving in this fashion, but do it if for no other reason the fact that it's just plain bad taste to bring somebody new into your mess. Clean that up, get yourself presentable, and once you're ready, once you've done the work, now you can begin actively looking to bring someone into your situation, and hopefully they'll be able to contribute to it as opposed to just regretting it, resenting you, planning their escape.
Definitely, definitely. So I hope this is great advice for the gentleman that asked for it, that emailed and asked about this question. I hope this helps you in your venture going forward, and let us know what the update is on what happened. Before we get into our next segment, I just want to show this video real quick and explain to you guys what's behind this video. So when we talk about self-awareness, I think this video will show you how this gentleman became self-aware of his situation and how he was able to assess himself, and you'll see how he overcome that. All right.
I'm proud of you, black man. 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 I'm proud of you, black man.
So he says, "I'm proud of you, black man," where he was referring to himself for his accomplishment. And I love how his wife, and this is so crazy that you gotta have a great mate. She was sitting back, nurturing him and just assuring him that she's proud of him, but also just giving him soft comfort and letting him vent out the way he wanted to vent out. And the video went viral. This is not a new video, this is an old video, but the video went viral. And people didn't understand why he was giving himself this self-assertion, why he was giving himself this self-praises. And one of the things that when you guys go back at the beginning of the video where we broke down the definition of self-awareness, one of it was how you see yourself. The energy and the confidence also was part of it. And that's what this guy exuded. And his backstory is he went from diving in dumpsters for dinner to becoming a doctor. Dr. Russell Lidwip, MD, PhD, and MBA. He is the only black man in the country to match into triple board residency this year. For context, he grew up digging in dumpsters for dinner with his mother and little sister. He was a security guard at the same hospital where he eventually became a medical student. So,
wow.
I remember Major said earlier, he was giving you example of somebody he knew, and what he pointed out was exactly what this was talking about and what you saw. He talked about patience, having patience. This guy had enormous patience, but he knew where he wanted to go. Remember, part of self-awareness is knowing where you're trying to head to, where you're going. And that's what he knew. He knew he was going to put in this work. He ended up being a security guard, then a medical student. Then he ended up working his degrees and end up being one of the elite doctors, all while having his own family and making sure. This is what's so great about this situation is that, and I tell people all the time, when you examining people in different love languages and stuff like that, normally people's love languages is what they didn't have growing up, what they lacked, right?
True.
And it's very important for you to understand that. but also not only with love languages, but sometimes what people lack is what they strive to be the best at. So because he was in the dumpsters, eating out of dumpsters with his mother and his sister, he knew that his father wasn't there. I don't know his situation with his father, but his father was absent. Now he has his family, and he made sure he grinds so hard that his wife and his children don't have to worry about nothing, which becoming one of the top elite doctors, I'm pretty sure they ain't got nothing to worry about.
Yeah.
But he made sure that he was not going to leave his family the way his father had left him with his family.
Wow.
So I just wanted to show you guys that and bring it all back to the self-awareness before we jump into this next segment, and understand that, take keynotes and understand how you can change your life. Your past do not shift you into the future unless you wanted to push you in that direction. If you grew up horrible, you can come out of that dark tunnel and end up enjoying the field full of rainbows. And I'm not talking about a community, I'm talking about the joyous effect of a rainbow that a rainbow brings. Because remember, at the end of the rainbow was a pot of gold. So you can get to your pot of gold despite what you go through. It's going to take the hard work, dedication, and effort to get there, but you will get there. And remember, part of that journey is self-awareness. Now, we can go to our next topic, which is hell nah or hell yeah. I know this
Let's
is
get it.
people's
Yay, yay.
favorite segment to get to.
All right.
Some great list tonight. All right, hell yeah or hell nah. Let's get it. All right, first one up, Fantasia. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
When I
All
see her, when I
Marino.
see her.
Yeah, I'm
Fantasia Barrito.
hoping they could do the verses. I hope Fantasia and who is she going against? Hudson?
Oh,
Jennifer Hudson.
Yeah, Hudson, right?
Ooh,
All right. I want to
That's gonna
see
be
her go
insane.
against that.
That's gonna be crazy.
That's gonna be crazy. I'm looking forward to that. The FOI.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely. Hell yeah.
Fuck.
Hell yeah.
So
Salute to
the
them
FOI,
brothers.
what's the acronyms for the FOI? That's the Nation of Islam.
Fruit
Security,
of
right?
Islam.
No,
Fruit of
Fruit of
Islam.
Islam. Yeah, okay. The Fruit
That's
of
the
Islam.
security, the military
Exactly.
apparatus.
All
Yeah.
right, so hell yeah. Arby's. Hell no.
Hell
Hell
yeah.
yeah.
Tripping. You tripping.
Bro,
Hell
you
yeah.
goofing. What?
No. Let me take that back. The new Arby's is good.
Arby's is lit, bro.
The old Arby's, I would not eat at the old Arby's.
People be
Don't
dragging
get a chance
Arby's.
to eat at the new Arby's. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah.
The new
Arby's lit.
Yeah, Arby's
Arby's
is
is already
whatever
my
they did to
favorite
revamp
fast
it.
food joint.
I'm
Yeah.
good with that. Yes.
I've
Shit,
always liked it.
that's probably the closest you can actually get to real legitimate food at these restaurants. At least you know what the
Real
name
talk.
is. Other stuff you
Yeah.
gotta roll dice. Arby's
Yeah,
be hidden.
that's true. That's true. All right, A Tribe Called Quest. Hell yeah.
Hell
One of
yeah.
my favorite groups.
Hell yeah.
Can I kick it?
Yes, you
Yes,
can.
indeed.
Can I kick it?
Yes,
Woo!
you can.
Man.
Iconic.
Louis Vuittons.
Hell no.
No.
Hell no.
I'm doing black owned stuff. I don't want no damn Louis Vuitton.
The hell with that overpriced
I
bullshit.
gotta reach out to my dog Sai, man. I like Sai, man. I love Sai, what Sai doing with his kicks.
Bet.
Yeah, I gotta reach out to Sai, man. He's doing such phenomenal job with them shoes, man.
Yeah.
Yo, I gotta get him on.
Okay.
Creed 3.
Hell yeah.
Hell no.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Phenomenal.
Phenomenal. Good talk.
Yeah, shout out to Michael B for directing that. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Joy and Reed. Fuck no.
Hell no.
That's not even
Hell
no.
no.
Fuck no.
Oh.
No. Hold on, wait a second. Is this
Brittany
thing on?
Griner.
No.
Brittany Griner. Hell no.
Hell no.
I'm not messing with
Well, that
Brittany.
not. I'm glad she's back home, but nah.
Hell no.
No.
Yeah.
Not messing with
She can let that nonsense back over in Mother Russia when she
Yeah.
got there.
Mind you, let me just interject. You see, all the black folks, all the black men was sticking up for her. In particular, black folks was riding for her.
Yeah.
LGBT community ain't say shit. When I should get back over here, she's caping for all these LGBT causes. Just saying.
But,
and ignoring the black people.
That's
okay.
what they always do. They always need our help and leadership. Draymond Green. Hell yeah, hell no.
Hell yeah. That's my guy.
Shout out to Draymond. Up in the Bay.
What you say?
I'm not messing with Draymond, dog. He shouldn't have stole Poole like that. If he stole Poole, y'all probably would have been the Lakers if he ain't hit Poole like that. That
was whack.
Has never been right since, dog. And they chemistry been up. Hell no.
That was whack. I ain't gonna lie, that was whack.
Because right now, all the issues that they have with Poole right now is basically led up to the same exact thing man was talking about.
Yeah.
Dude went and got big headed. He let that contract get his head. He talking mad smack, and that's why when Draymond went and sucker punched him, that's why you see all the other heads. Clay ain't say nothing. Because they knew dude was getting a little too big in his boots. But they know Draymond, if anybody, is gonna be that dude to get in his chest.
Yeah, I fucks with Draymond.
That's what's supposed to happen. That's matter of fact, teams like the Grizzlies need a Draymond. You need a veteran that's got some accomplishments that is gonna go and get the young heads in order right now.
Yeah.
People listen. If they don't listen, they get their chest thumped.
Yeah, definitely.
So, big ups to
Dre. Jamaica House. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. That's the best Jamaican restaurant in the city.
Yeah.
The best one.
Jamaica House in a minute too, but yeah.
Yeah, Jamaica House, I know the owner of Jamaica House. He's a longtime friend of my mother.
Okay.
Real cool dude. And they were the first ones that actually do the cross thing, the cross meats, right? Which is like you could get two sets of meat.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I love that.
Like, damn. I was like, the creativity that he comes up with. And it's a popping ass thing. And then next thing you know, he told me he was gonna build the little restaurant vibe, and then end up having a nice club kind of vibe to it.
Yeah.
Night lounge type. So I mean, he's been always that studious Jamaican dude.
Yeah.
Always creative and stuff like that. Mad props to him. I know him. Super cool dude.
And they open 24 hours. So if y'all in Miami, make sure y'all go check out Jamaica House. It's black owned. You dig?
Yeah. And don't go in there with no attitude. Just go get your food and get out. Some niggas, a bunch of gunmen in there. Bunch of gunmen in there. All right? So
Real
don't
talk.
act too crazy because them shots is up there.
Real talk.
Harachis.
Hell no. Hell no.
Harachis?
Hell no.
You don't like Harachis?
Maybe for girls.
Was a shit.
For girls, to me they whack.
No? Y'all not doing Harachis? Harachis was a shit.
Whack.
No? It's whack now.
I think some of the original ones was okay, but when it took off, they really went.
Yeah. All right, Marvel Comics. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Marvel Comics.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I used to collect
Marvel. Camp on that.
Yeah.
Definitely a Marvel person. The Grammys. Hell no.
Hell no. Hell no. You couldn't pay me to watch that bullshit. Yeah. Hell no.
I watch some award shows and I don't know how long, and I plan on keeping that streak alive and very well.
Yeah,
there you go.
I'm not into that. Dr. Umar Johnson. Hell yeah. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
As long as he ain't getting no sookie nookie, dog, I'm good.
I'm gonna need my brother to stay focused.
Stay focused.
Remember, it's building over back shots. My brothers.
Listen, brother. Focus on your focus, my brother. All that other stuff ain't really hitting on that. You need to focus on your focus.
All right, Stacey Adams. Yeah, hell yeah, you gotta get cleaned up.
Hell yeah.
No, hold on. Stacey Adams, you talking about the shoes, right?
Yes.
Okay, Stacey Adams. Yeah, the shoes. All right.
I just said Stacey Abrams. Stacey Adams.
Okay, Stacey Adams. Okay,
I
cool.
didn't hear that.
I don't know. You know, there be so many crazy politicians in this. You know, I don't know. All right, so Stacey Adams, hell yeah. Stacey Adams had you right. Young brothers out there, make sure you get a pair of Stacey Adams. Boy, it's gonna get you right. Get them Stacey Adams, young fellas out there. All right, Sofia Vergara.
Yes.
Who is that?
That's the chick off of Modern Family. The mother.
Oh, she's a good actress. I like
Hell
her.
yeah, I like Sofia Vergara.
I like her. She's funny.
She's actually stupid funny.
She's stupid funny. She's stupid funny.
She is funny.
She's also got she actually has a really, really good business mind too. She got her hand in a lot of different things, really expand her brand.
She's dope. Yeah.
Very talented Renaissance woman. Salute to her.
Yeah, salute to her.
I respect the hustle when I see it.
All right, Barita. Hell yeah. I love
Barita. Hell yeah.
Barita's my shit.
That's my shit too.
You went there, Bobby? You like it?
Salute to Barita.
Oh, okay. Cool. All right, online dating. Yeah.
Hell yeah, but hell no. Hell no.
I'll say it's what you make of it to a large extent.
I
a lot of hits, a lot of misses.
I can't knock it.
Let me tell you why.
Because there's some great people online.
You know what I like about this shit? Yeah. What I like is you get the pre-screen all these people, right? So you weeding out all the bullshit. What I don't like about it is me personally, I've never found anybody quality from online dating ever. Just saying. So hell no, shit. Hell no.
I'm gonna put a caveat with it. Hell yeah, if you are for the individual. Hell yeah for the individual. If you actually make it your business to actually meet up with these people, and it's not just some online 6-7 month long relationship where ain't no one seen nobody yet. If you actually take the initiative to meet people offline, and make this digital thing something in the flesh, or at least vetting people in the person as well, then hell yeah. If you just trying to have an online boo, move around.
Hilarious.
All right. So South Beach. Hell no. Fuck.
Hell no. Hell no. South Beach is for tourists.
Basically.
South Beach ain't it's not for niggas, period. Whether you're touring or not.
Hell no, for the people watching, you go see a whole lot of entertainment down there. They're watching.
Some weirdos on South Beach, bro.
It ain't for you. And if you're a tourist, if you're watching this, we're from South Beach. If you're a tourist, don't stay there. Because what I found out is that during the time you guys come down, they know when the Negroes come down. The weeks you guys come down, they overtax it. There's been reports about that. They charge higher for the rooms. They charge extra for the food, and they're the reason why they put gratuity on there, mandated gratuity on it. So black folks get away from.
That's the reason for those out of towners that keep track with local news in regards to that. That's the reason why them business owners be fighting so damn hard with law enforcement, because law enforcement wanted to shut the whole thing down. Because it's way too much of a headache for them with all the human resources, the manpower. They got to be getting extra officers from other areas to come in, assist, whatever. It's a headache for them. But the business class, the business owners there be going to war to make sure that we can keep coming, because they know they get to jack them prices and raise your pockets.
Yeah.
So it ain't because they love y'all. They just want your paper.
Remember this. All you black people that come down for Memorial Weekend, they make their whole quarter off of that weekend. Just to show you how much money they make. So that's why that's why they fight for y'all to come down there, because you can basically tap out their whole quarters through that 1 week. So remember that.
Real talk.
Keep that in mind.
Don't come on vacation, leave on probation. Happens all the time.
All the time. So remember, everything after that, they're profiting. So they love when you guys come down.
Miami Gardens.
Yeah. Fila. Hell yeah, hell no. Nah.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Fila.
Hell yeah.
Fila.
Fila, man.
When they came back.
You know why? Because when I was a kid, if Fila was in, I couldn't afford them. So now, and they look good too. You dig? I say
Now
hell
we
yeah for
said
Fila.
Puma, like Puma. Yeah, 'cause
Yeah.
I got Pumas. Like last time we said Pumas, I got Puma. My Pumas is fire.
I'm a rock my Filas when I see y'all. Y'all gonna be like, oh shit,
Hold
why?
on, let me show you my
Yep.
Pumas. My Pumas
Them
is fire.
feel-out boots was on point too. Look, man.
Yeah,
A
man.
lot of
Yeah, my feet, my Pumas is fire. See,
Okay.
absolutely.
the Pumas
Yeah.
is fire.
They fly.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I didn't see no felines. Maybe I gotta check. But
I'm
for me
gonna
right
bring my
now,
Filas on next time so you can see them. They
If
all
you
the way in
take
the other room.
if you were to take a
Yeah.
whole bunch of shoes and just rip the labels off and you put them felines there with everybody else, them
Yeah.
felines would be getting love. People be hating because of the name, because
Yeah,
the media didn't tell them that fila is the shoe. That's all.
I gotta
This
see
shit's
it.
hard.
All right, I gotta see it. Well, that concludes this week of Hell Yeah, Hell Nah. Hope you guys enjoy it.
All
And
right.
we're going into our final segment, which
There
is
Yeah.
we go.
ground check.
Yeah.
You know
Now,
why I'm here.
I know we have a list that y'all don't see. We have a list of candidates, right? But this, I said I went off the rack with this one. These
Okay.
fellas don't even know who this is because the queen check for this week is not even on the list.
Okay.
And I know that they don't know who the queen checks are, but
Plot twist.
how do I want to do this? Let's see. All right. So I'll do the videos first, and then or should I do the names first? No, let me go with the names. All right. Let's go with the names. All right, let's do it.
More
like
than
this.
one?
All right. So the queen check this week is New Orleans teenager Celia Johnson and Nakia Jackson's figured out a mathematical equation that seemingly been impossible. Johnson and Jackson demonstrated that the Pythagorean theorem can be proven with trigonometry. These are the two girls right here. Two Black girls have discovered new proof for a 2,000-year-old mathematical problem.
Shit.
And let me show you how dope these girls are. So here's the first video that we're going to get into.
Kind of student to outsmart 2,000 years of mathematicians. At St. Mary's Academy, they have two.
It's an unparalleled feeling, honestly, because there's just nothing like it, being able to do something that people don't think that young people can do.
Kelsey Johnson and Nakia Jackson, they say they've proven that Pythagoras' theorem can be proved without circular trigonometry.
It's like us doing this. It's usually like you have to be an adult to do this.
Now, it starts with trigonometry, and trigonometry is based on Pythagorean theorem. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. That all sounds familiar, right? Now, what they did, and that they said couldn't be done, is that Pythagorean theorem could not be proved using trigonometry. That is what is known as circular logic. An idea can't prove itself. But what Kelsey and Nakia did is that they were able to prove Pythagoras' theorem without using circular logic.
All right. So they proved it without using circular logic. Now, I'm going to give you the historical part of it, why this is so powerful and why I selected them to be the crown check this week. Now, check this out.
This right here makes a lot of sense because it was Black people that gifted the world mathematics. It was the ancient Egyptians that taught the Greeks about trigonometry, about pi, and of course about the so-called Pythagorean theorem. They were using that ratio of triplets 2,000 years before Pythagoras was born. So it makes sense that two young Black women will be the one to prove that you can solve the Pythagorean theorem without using trigonometry.
And a shout out to those two young girls. Definitely gonna give them props again to these two young girls.
I'm enamored with it.
Shout out to them for doing what they did. 2,000 years. Now you talking about nobody proved it, but two Black girls. Now you talk about Black girl magic. That's some damn Black girl magic.
That's the Black girl magic. Real talk.
That's the Black girl magic.
Damn.
All right.
Okay.
So that's this week's.
I love it so much. And it also, I celebrate that. I'm thrilled. I'm over the moon. I'm definitely going to nerd out and do some more digging into that because all I just got all my spider senses on full on. So I definitely want to get into that and really understand better what exactly it is that they did and everything. But
Yeah.
it also does kind of make me a little, I wouldn't say sad, but a little wistful because I see that I heard the name of the school. I see where they're at and everything. It looks like it's a really top notch school. Probably really quality education takes place there, a lot of good instruction, everything. And I just can't help think how many other black children have those same abilities or even greater. And because they don't have access to quality instruction, proper resources, proper training, they're not being put in front of quality instructors. They're not being exposed to these things. They don't have the opportunity to shine and be brilliant like that. Because I talked to some of my friends in education who got stories about working with kids who supposedly hate math and not good at it and they just don't understand it, but they find other ways. I actually had a sister when I first got into education. We were just going back and talking about our stories, whatever, and she said that she had a student in middle school who was horrible in math. Like they were in middle school and they had no mathematics skills. They did not know how to count. They were severely lacking in their skills. And so she was killing herself trying to figure out how do I get this child to, to understand math, whatever. They were using counters, whatever. They're using, sticks, all the traditional math stuff. And it just wasn't clicking with the child. And I guess probably it was because the child wasn't interested. She confided me that she had to do this privately because she was positive that even though it was working and getting results, she probably would have been fired for it and would have lost a job. Somehow along the line, she discovered that if she used non-traditional means of counting with the child was able to pick up on it and picked up on it rapidly. She said that when she was able to use, I hate to say it, but when she was able to use guns or whatever, the kid got it. So he said if such and such has 19 pistols, whatever, rifles, whatever, but for whatever reason, I don't know if it was the shock value or because that's what the child's mind was. But she said he was one of these kids that, was playing Grand Theft Auto and stuff, playing all these adult games and stuff they had no business playing, whatever. That was what he was knee deep in, but he got it. So when she found his language and spoke to that, he started picking up and she was able to actually teach him and actually get him. Of course, this is a middle school. You're not going to get him to grade level with his math skills overnight or not even through the course of a year. But she was able to at least put a foundation for mathematics in this child using these resources. And she said the way he picked it up, it was almost like, he'd been thirsty and he just discovered, oh, this is a cup of water. And we were talking about, man, where would this child be if they had the right environment or whatever, if they didn't have whatever conditions led to this. We have some brilliant children. And we see all the times how they're able to take nothing and make something out of it. We got kids overseas that are doing engineering with trash and rubbish in different places in Africa. We have kids here discovering mathematical theories and breaking them and flipping the game on its head. If we could just invest in our children properly and really become excited and show the same initiative that we do with other things like sports and stuff, if we could really put that in their chest and really show them we're there and we're supporting that and we're all in with that, man, they're unstoppable. Because we see it all the time. When the playing field is leveled, we don't win. We dominate. We crush it. We kill the game.
Real talk. Real talk.
So I'm very encouraged by those sisters. I'm so happy for them. I'm thrilled for their families. I hope the people in their lives understand how major this really is and what this is going to do for education and mathematics and science going forward. There's going to be a lot of changes that are taking place just in terms of measurement and architecture and engineering. There's going to be a whole lot of changes made just based on what these sisters discovered for decades to come. And I'm thrilled that I hope they get the credit for it. And even if they don't, at least we will know that they helped to get the ball rolling, or that any tweaks or any advancements we see probably has something to do with them.
That's what's up. Applause, man. They killed it.
I love it.
Wow. I'm officially wowed. Shit. 2,000 years old?
And you know what? And they still in school. I'm gonna take it a step further. I can't wait to see what comes next.
How
I know
about
they
that,
ain't.
right?
I know they ain't done. I know they ain't finished. I know it's gonna be more innovations coming for them. Keep your eyes out for those names. You're gonna see some other big things for them.
It's
Mark my
coming.
word.
It's loaded. That's remarkable. Damn. All right, Ant, you knocked it out the park with that one, bro. Shit. All right. We can't hear you, Anthony.
My bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, that concludes this week's episode. Appreciate y'all fellas for that. I knew you guys would enjoy that gem. I was so ecstatic about it when I saw it and heard it. 2,000 years old. These girls are just 16, still in high
Outstanding.
school. So for them to knock out something 2,000, that's a whole bunch of people ahead of them, scholars ahead of them. For them to sit there and do that to me, it just, man, it sparks in me. So can you imagine other children or other people that it sparked up and made them like proud and also want to see what the hell they can go ahead and debunk or unravel? It's just the sky's the limit with that one. So I hope that anybody that's watching, you got inspired by that. You teach this to your children and show it to your children. Not necessarily this show, because this might be a little bit more rated than, but you can get the YouTube videos that are more G-rated and children friendly, and show them that and inspire these children, man. Because at the end of the day, everybody strives off of inspiration and what they can possibly achieve, and skies are the limit. So push these children up there. And that's all I have for this week. You guys, anything short you guys want to say before we get out of here? It's good.
Real quick, man. Shout out. We apparently we doing something right. Cause shout out to Sister Mila Renee. She said she's gonna be showing parts of this video in her classroom. So that's real dope. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I
we on
really,
that,
really, huh?
Salute to the sister.
Yes, I feel great about that, because our young children need to hear some of the stuff that we're saying. So that's greatly appreciated, sister. And we appreciate everybody else who's in the chat. Lowell and Mila Renee have been very vocal, and that is greatly appreciated. Everyone else who tuned in, we appreciate you. But to bring it back home to the topic, being self-aware, you have to know what you are presenting to the world and understand the implications of that person and the behaviors therein. You have to understand this, especially as a Black person. You can't go out here careless, reckless, feckless, foolish, obnoxious, and think that you're going to find success or that you're going to find happiness and that you're not going to have a damn shitload of problems that come along with it. You're going to get back the energy that you put out, broadly speaking. And you need to be aware of the types of energy that you're putting out and the way that you're speaking and, just your mannerisms and your energy. You have to be cognizant of these things. You cannot afford, as a person generally speaking, but especially as a Black person, to be so ignorant, or to be ignorant at all to what it is that you're putting out in the universe. This type of, stuff like Bobby Drake was talking about earlier, these platitudes like only God can judge me and I don't care what people think. Cut the shit, man. Everybody cares what people think to an extent, and you should, because you don't have all the answers and you might be wrong. And if you're portraying yourself in a way that is offensive to others, and I'm not talking about, good, decent, well-meaning people, but I mean just generally that's offensive to others or that is off-putting to others, you may want to think about it. Think about the way that you're presenting yourself and recalibrate yourself in a better manner so that you're transmitting a better signal, so that you're more receivable, so that people understand you in a better way and you're not coming off to people, generally speaking, as being offensive. Sometimes you have to offend people. And if you know that you're right, and you know God's on your side and your message is for real, you know, and you're offending people who are evil people, well, that's different, you know. But just broadly speaking, if you're coming off in a crass and abrasive way and so forth and so on, and you're not really aware of the image that you're putting out there, you need to kind of reel yourself in and tighten up. You know what I mean? And that goes for everybody, you know, across, you know, age groups, ethnicities, races, so forth and so on. None of us are perfect. It is mature to understand the version of yourself that you're putting before the world. And I'll land my plane there.
What it all boils down to is understanding that everything matters. Yes, as a person, you do matter. You're not insignificant. Every single person on this planet, you're not insignificant. You matter. Your life matters. But also the life that you live matters as well too. It's not just the quantity of life, the fact that you have a life, but it's also the quality of the life thereof. With that being said, start living. If you're not already doing it, start living like your life is worth a damn. And what that means is to separate yourself, begin to divorce yourself from behaviors and lifestyles and habits that indicate otherwise, that your life doesn't mean much. That can be a very broad scope. There's a lot of things that can play into that. And I wouldn't even dream of trying to minimize that. It needs to be broad because there's a lot of room for self-examination. And in all things, and I believe this is something that we talked about in one of our early episodes as well, but in all things, begin with the end in mind. Get out of that survival mindset where you're just living for right now, the moment. There's a time and place for that, but the bulk of your existence needs to take care of the future as well too. You can focus on the right here, right now, but if you don't also live with your mindset to the future, you'll take L's. If you don't think long term, bills won't get paid, rent won't get paid,
right?
Jobs won't be worked, resources won't be acquired, children won't be left hungry. There's a lot of things that get left to the wayside if we only focus on right now and live like nothing else matters. No, it matters because there is a tomorrow. And unless you plan on doing something extreme like offing yourself, I think it's safe to assume that you are going to have tomorrow and a day after that, a week after that, a month and a year after that. You need to live your life accordingly so the future does not become a prison sentence and a death sentence for you, but it becomes something that you can look forward to. That calls for self-awareness. Live like your life is worth a damn. That's all I got.
Real talk. Yes, sir. And we can't hear you again, bro.
Yeah. All right. So, like I say, glad that you guys tied that in and took us out with that. Remember, we are getting bigger and better every week. The topics are just getting intense. The gems are being so dropped and so heavy. So we appreciate everybody with the constant feedback. And like I say, we're just getting bigger and better every week. So definitely tune in next week. We're going to have another dope episode. And we appreciate everybody participating and sharing the emails and even sending us emails. And remember, manversations20@gmail.com.
2020.
That you heard, 2020, yes. Manversations2020@gmail.com. Thank you, Major. Remember, if anything you guys need, any questions, feel free, send us an email. We'll reply back to you. We'll give it whatever resources we have to assist you. We're solution-based, and that's
subscribe.
Yes, we're solution-based, and we want to make sure that we're out here changing our community in a tangible way. And that's what we're about. So remember, like Bobby said, follow, like, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend, add more people so that the value can not be just hidden, but can be shared amongst especially the people that need it the most. All
There
right.
you go.
With that being
Right.
said, we out of here. Peace
Yeah.
out, family. Peace.
All right.
On the album, we do things like songs that are a little, what we call sexy. You can see from the title, it's more of a love album.